Let's get it! 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Monday. Greetings, salutations. Hope you had a great weekend. We are back with 3 hours of sports talk coming your way on 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, on your mobile device, on the MSC radio app, and on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. However, wherever, whenever you're tuned into the program today, thank you so much for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuy will be along in the 4 o'clock hour. Got a great show for you today coming off of the weekend. Welcome to the worst sports week on the American calendar. The week of the Major League Baseball All-Star break. On the American sports calendar this week, there is almost nothing. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. We got the Home Run Derby tonight on Netflix. We got the All-Star game tomorrow. Wednesday and Thursday, I don't know. What are we going to do? Play the Wii? Read a book? Take up a new hobby? Nothing going on in American sports. Now, luckily for us, this is a World Cup year. World Cup semifinals this week. Championship. Got the Open Championship in golf this weekend, a major championship weekend in golf. So not a total loss, but this is the deadest week in sports in our country. And so we're going to make it through it together. We're going to have a lot of fun this week, even if there aren't much in the way of games to discuss. And maybe that's a good thing as far as the Royals are concerned. They continue to hit new lows. They were swept over the weekend by the Baltimore Orioles. They are losers of 5 straight going into the All-Star break. Nobody in baseball has a worse record. The Royals have an identical record to the Los Angeles Angels, who I have said before on this show. I think that's the most poorly run organization in all of professional sports. In the major sports, nobody is run worse, in my opinion, than the Los Angeles Angels. A lot of contenders for the throne. Cleveland Browns, hello. I'm sure there's some, NBA teams. Like the Wizards have not been very well run for a lot of years, but, they got A.J. DeBonsa now. Things are looking up. The Angels, I think, are the worst run major professional sports franchise, and they have the same record as the Royals. And no one is worse. Not the Rockies, not the Mets, not anybody. Nobody's worse. And it's not just the losing. It's not just the what of it. It's the how. It's the how this team is losing that is embarrassing. And it's Vinny Pasquantino talking after the game about the bench clearing incident that happened yesterday. In case you missed it, and look, maybe you did. Maybe you've tuned out the Royals. Maybe you tuned them out weeks ago. There was a bench clearing incident. Not really a brawl. Nobody threw any punches. A lot of posturing is these things. We don't really get good brawls anymore. There's a whole video series. There's a YouTube channel, Secret Base. You should check them out there if you're a sports fan. They're doing a whole video series right now about the history of the bench clearing brawl. And you notice we don't get them like we used to. You used to get them a lot in the 80s and 90s. When the league was coked up and on steroids. And we don't get them anymore. That's weird. I wonder why. I wonder if there's a correlation. But anyway, there was a bench clearing incident yesterday, and the fact that it happened at all is embarrassing. The way the Royals lost yesterday is embarrassing. Vinny Pasquantino opening his mouth, and embarrassing things came out of Vinny Pasquantino's mouth. I'm going to talk about all of it here on the program. And it might be the last time the Royals hit the 3 o'clock A block this season. I'm not going to lie to you folks. Report day in St. Joe is in 11 days. Can't get here soon enough. But we'll get to some baseball. Speaking of the Chiefs, speaking of the report day, we'll continue our countdown to Chiefs kickoff today. We will discuss, if I can manage to do it without blowing a blood vessel, we will discuss whoever the idiot is who submitted a list to ESPN of the top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football League and ranked 3-time Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes the 9th best quarterback in the league entering 2026. If I were going to fix my lips to say that out loud, that was what I thought, I would want to be anonymous too. ESPN releasing their list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league based on lists submitted to them by people around the league. And somebody rated Mahomes 9th. Somebody left Lamar Jackson out of the top 10 entirely. Do you watch the games? Be honest. So we'll get there. We'll also talk some football with our NFL insider, Matt Verderame. He'll be one of our guests today here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt of Sports Illustrated joins us at the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour every Monday, and he will join us here today in about half an hour or so. 2 other guests on the show today as we continue. It may have been last week, but we've still got content from Big 12 football media days. We have a week's worth of content from just 2 days. That's the beauty of Big 12 media days. So we've got 2 more interviews we're going to play for you today in the 4 o'clock hour. You're going to hear from the star junior running back of the Kansas State Wildcats, Joe Jackson, and one of the top, maybe the top returning skill player for the Kansas Jayhawks, Cam Pickett, who definitely was the best dressed, not just Jayhawk. I think he might have been the best dressed player on site on Wednesday for sure. I chatted with both Joe and Cam last Wednesday down in Frisco, Texas at Big 12 Football Media Days. and you haven't heard those conversations yet. We're going to change that. We'll play both of those chats for you in the 4 o'clock hour today. So we got all that coming up, plus our typical shenanigans on a Monday. We've got our 580 Sports Talk headlines. We've got our What is Wrong with You? Start a brand new week. Good, bad, ugly from the sports weekend that was. That's all coming up on the show today. Plus your interaction. Want to hear from you. The text line is open as always. 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. Can also interact with us in the live chat on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Go subscribe to the channel, folks. Only costs you a click or a tap of your screen. Over 1,000 YouTube subscribers, can't be wrong. Go find us at 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. We got a good crowd into the chat already on this Monday. That's great to see. Mark H. is in. Vance, our buddy McFly, is in the chat today. Tyler, JB, Andrew, Britt, Paul. Man, great to see all you folks. Look forward to hearing from you. And hey, if you've never been in the chat, no day like today. If you're watching the show on YouTube, hop in that live chat. You can access it on your phone or your tablet. Hop in that live chat, say hello, interact with your fellow listeners and your hosts, and join the 580 Sports Talk community over on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Royals lost yesterday 8-2. That is the 8th time this season that the Royals have been swept in a series. That is the most of any team in baseball. So that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to watch Matt Strahm keep being rolled out there to get his brains beaten in. His ERA is up over 7. You want a real jump scare, go check out Baseball Reference. Go see how Jonathan Boland's doing for the Phillies this year. Pretty good. Pretty well. Would Boland be the Royals' best reliever? Might be. He'd be right in there behind Lynch. It's embarrassing that we keep seeing Matt Strahm get the ball. It was high leverage on Friday. That was nonsense. It was a tie game in the middle innings yesterday, and he couldn't get anybody out. At this point, cut your losses. You're not trading him. I don't want to watch him pitch again. I know what that is. He's washed. He's cooked. He's passed. It happens. Father Time wins. Father Time is undefeated. 10 years in the bigs. That's a great run for Matt Strahm. But Father Time is much like Orioles hitters this weekend, getting its licks in. So that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. This is the thing that bothers me more than anything else. It is embarrassing how juiceless the Royals are. Beyond the winning and the losing, this team is a wretched watch. You've got maybe the most dynamic player in baseball in Bobby Witt Jr., and you are unwatchable. They are as unexciting, unfun as it is possible for a baseball team to be. And to think, we were sitting here in mid-March, late March, getting ready for the start of this season. We were coming off of a World Baseball Classic that really, the show was stolen by the Royals players who were a part of the World Baseball Classic. And I remember thinking, and I wasn't alone, man, could the vibes possibly be any higher for this Royals team? This is a fun bunch. This is an exciting bunch. Hey, Vinny and Salvi and Jack and Bobby and Michael. This is going to be a fun year. Man, we're in for a fun year watching these guys play baseball. I can't think of anything I want to do less than watch the Kansas City Royals play baseball at this point. They are utterly and completely sauceless. And that's a hard thing to be when you have Bobby Witt Jr. That's a hard thing to be when you have had your young batch, Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen, to varying degrees, break out and really shine at times in their rookie seasons. This team is unwatchable dreck. It never feels like they're going to win a baseball game. I know they've got 38 wins. I know what the record says. 38 wins. How the hell did they ever win 38? Because I cannot tell you. I mean, yeah, obviously, they've won 38. It's the way it goes. There have been some games this year from the start. They've gotten off to good starts. Like just the other day, just last week, they were pounding all-star starting pitcher Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies. He's to start the All-Star game. And maybe the last time you saw him, or the only time you saw him, was the Royals just drumming him, beating his brains in. But for the most part, when you turn on a Kansas City Royals game, television, radio, open the MLB app on your phone, follow the dots, do you expect them to win? It doesn't matter the pitching matchup. It doesn't matter who's healthy, who's in the lineup. They don't feel like they're ever going to win. And I have to imagine that attitude, that belief is real strong in the clubhouse right now. We said this from the very beginning of the year. This is a group, and they had proven it the 2 years prior with mostly the same core of guys. This is a group that when things are going well, they go really well. They are a front-running group. And when things go south, it gets ugly. And it is ugly. This is an ugly season. So that's embarrassing. That's the part that probably big picture frustrates me so much. It's not all the losing. It's just not even pleasant. Because you could be a losing team and still, like, you're competitive. You got some exciting guys, some young guys. And the Royals have some of that. They have exciting players. They have some intriguing young talent. But they are just an impossible watch. No juice whatsoever. No energy, no sauce, no anything. You know what else is embarrassing? That Lucas Erceg, who 2 years ago looked like he was set to be a long-term feature in the back of the Royals bullpen. Hell, even last year. It wasn't a great year for him last year, but the surface numbers were pretty good. ERA was good. You trusted him. When Lucas Erceg came in the game, you thought, okay, there's a guy who's going to get us a 0. It's embarrassing that Lucas Erceg's control is so far gone that in a game that's out of reach, on a 1-2 pitch, he loses one, and he breaks the hand of Blaze Alexander, who's been Baltimore's hottest hitter this year. And I don't know about you, but if I got hit in the hand hard enough to break it by somebody, I'd be pretty upset. I don't begrudge Blaze Alexander his reaction one bit. I understand why the benches cleared and there was a frank exchange of ideas between the Orioles and the Royals. The way the game recap framed it, I think it was the Associated Press game recap, although God only knows, is the AP writing those things or they have AI writing those things anymore? Who knows? But the game recap that I saw, that I read, correctly identified that these are two teams that are frustrated going into the All-Star break. Two teams that are a long way from where they thought they were going to be. And some of that frustration, yeah, that's one way that frustration can manifest itself. And you would be right, and Vinny Pasquantino was right, to note that such a reaction to being hit was incongruous with the game situation, which is you're getting beat, you need outs, you're just trying to get off of this road trip from hell into the All-Star break, and it's a 1-2 count. There is a 0% chance, that Lucas Erceg is in there trying to hit Blaze Alexander. It was not on purpose. Usually if the bench is clear, fists are thrown, it's over a pitch that was on purpose. And anybody knows. You're not trying to hit somebody. You get ahead of him 2 strikes. That would be the dumbest thing in the world. He'll never see it coming now. I'm up 2 strikes. I'm going to give him a free base. No, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. So in that respect, was it a surprising reaction from Blaze Alexander and the Orioles? Yes. From the respect that he broke his friggin' hand, was it then an overreaction? No, not at all. And this is what really was embarrassing, was that Vinny Pasquantino had this to say at his locker, as transcribed by Jake Rill, who covers the Orioles. Vinny Pasquantino, this is over on X, Jake D. Rill, if you want to read it for yourself. Vinny Pasquantino on the Blaze Alexander HBP and the benches clearing fracas between Orioles and Royals. Quote, "We had some up and in pitches the other day. To be honest, that's a guy who's hitting over 300, and is feeling good about himself, that feels the need when he gets hit, that he can say something. So credit to him for feeling good about himself like that. But he's clearly not. It's a 1-2 count. We're trying to get outs. We're not trying to give away free base runners. I think that's a bad baseball mindset personally, because why would we hit a guy right there? It's just common sense. But he feels good about what he's doing right now, and credit to him. He's been having a really good year. That was my perspective on it. So let me get this straight, Vinny. Your perspective is the guy got mad because he thought he was being thrown at intentionally because he's having a good season? And you think that his reaction is only because of his own ego? That Blaze Alexander's reaction wasn't because he just got his hand broken by an errant pitch from a guy carrying an over 5 ERA that ought to be in AAA if the team had any better options? And his reaction is purely ego? And that, he thinks he can say something because he's hitting over 300? If that's the case, Vinny, I don't want to hear another word from you because your ass is hitting 222. So what do you get to talk? Is that how it works? You only get to talk if you're hitting over 300? Why do you get to talk? Why do you get to talk? It's just further evidence. And because Vinny's supposed to be, fun-loving, jokes, clubhouse guy. Keep it light. And now he's out there playing the baseball cops, talking about, well, he thinks he can say something because he's hitting 312. Vinny, you wish you were hitting 312. You don't get to be the baseball sheriff. Who appointed you? Who gave you the gun and the badge? It's just further evidence, the rancid, ruined vibes of this rancid, ruined team and this rancid, ruined season. This was a PlayStation, you'd hit sim to end. Get this thing over with. As we sit here today at the All-Star break, 23 of the 30 Major League teams are within 4 games of a playoff spot. 23 of the 30 are within 4 games. You know who's within 4 games of a playoff spot because the American League's so freaking bad? The Detroit Tigers at 44-52. They're only 3.5 out of a wild card. The Washington Nationals over in the much better National League at 48-49. And frankly, with a bullpen that almost makes the Royals bullpen look like prime HDH. They're 48-49. They're 4 games back of a wild card. There are 7 Major League Baseball teams, 7, who do not find themselves within 4 games. And 4 games, that's a week. That's a week of baseball. That is shouting distance. Even if you're buried, like Detroit, obviously, they would have to surmount Toronto, Baltimore, Houston, and Boston just to get to Seattle and Minnesota, who are tied for that 3rd wild card right now. Tied for the 2nd and 3rd. Well, yeah, tied for that 3rd wild card. But 3.5, 4 games, that's 1 week. That's 1 week of lights out baseball, and you're right there. You're right there. Even the Tigers at 44-52 can feel like, hey, you get 1 good week, 2 good weeks, right back in this thing. The teams who cannot say that today, as the All-Star break arrives, the New York Mets, who fired their manager, the Cincinnati Reds, the San Francisco Giants, who are a total dumpster fire from ownership and front office all the way down to their plainly overmatched SEC manager who's going to go crawling back to college baseball as soon as this season is over. The Colorado Rockies, who never intended to be good and aren't. The Los Angeles Angels, who don't know how to be good and aren't. The Sacramento Athletics, who do not have a home. And the Kansas City Royals. You want to talk about embarrassing? Keeping that company. 2 years after a playoff berth, that's the company this team keeps. And you can't say they don't deserve it. And you can't see any way out of it. Sim to end. Get this thing over with already. We'll take a timeout. 785-272-9429 is the text line. Your reaction in the live chat on YouTube. We got Matt Verderame talking football with us in about 10 minutes. Look forward to that. We're going to hear from Joe Jackson of K-State, Cam Pickett of KU from Big 12 Football Media Days. Got a great show for you today. Glad you're here. We're here until 6 on 580 Sports Talk. $329 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting revved up on this Monday. Great to have you along. Again, hope you had an outstanding weekend. We'll get to the good, bad, ugly from the weekend that was here in a little bit. Matt Verderame joins us shortly. Talk some NFL. We got some more Big 12 Media Days coverage content coming up in a little bit as well. Got some thoughts from the YouTube chat that I want to get into today. JB doesn't mince words, says if the Royals make a trade, they should make headlines. Outside of that, they are worthless. A clown show for 2026. Not mincing any words there. Tyler in the chat says, I called the Royals dead 4 games into the season. They called me a madman. In retrospect, Tyler, the Carlos Estevez game, and that was game 2, that was kind of the portent for the entire season, right? Go back, they get shut out opening day. Reagan's wasn't very good. They got shut out on opening day in Atlanta, which, whatever, it's one game. But national TV, they got 2-0 lead behind a brilliant Michael Wacha start, and then they roll out a clearly not healthy, not ready for prime time Carlos Estevez to try and hold a 2-0 lead. And he didn't. And the more I think about it, that might be the emblematic game for this season and for Matt Quattro's management of this team and for the direction the bullpen has gone this year. Yeah, I think in retrospect, game 2 was honestly the earliest anybody could have said, yeah, I kind of see this one coming. David said he'd rather check the stock market more than check a Royals score again. So there's that. Christopher, in talking to regarding Urseg hitting Blaze Alexander, I feel terrible for Alexander. Gosh, in the midst of all this, guy's having a career year, and he's already changed organizations at least once. I remember him coming up with Arizona. So he's changed organizations at least once, maybe more. And he's finally having a breakout year, even on a sorry team. And he breaks his hands because Lucas Urseg can't find the strike zone. Hasn't been able to all year. And Christopher says nothing any pitcher out of this wretched bullpen does is on purpose. Mark H. asked, where's the fire and passion for this team? And I don't know, Mark. You would have thought it would have come from somewhere. But when this team is a good time, they're a really good time. And when they're not a good time, the daubers go down and it just skids. And Matt Quattro's leadership style, and this is well documented, Matt Quatraro is one of those guys that when you go through the normal ups and downs of a 162-game season, you give a manager credit for being an even keel, right? Never too high, never too low. That is a strength when you're good. When you're a good team, that's a strength. When you have a good baseball team, that is genuinely the kind of manager you want to have when you got a good club. Because even good clubs run into bad stretches of play. It's inevitable. It's 162 games. A lot of stuff happens for 6 months. And so you like having a manager who is not going to get too low when the bad spells happen. But sometimes it's all bad spell, and your team needs a kick in the pants, and Matt Quatraro has, I think, proven that he is not the guy to give that. So where's it going to come from? Hasn't come from the dugout. I know that much. Paul in the chat as well. The Royals coaching staff's the same at the break as it was when the season opened. To me, that indicates complacency, acceptance of lousy baseball, and we deserve better. Hard to argue the point. Andrew in the chat. JJ Piccolo is the one to blame for this. He and Q went out, got those bullpen arms, got those bats, and now they can't trade Bubic, Reagans, or Vinny. Say goodbye to Michael Wacha. It's like we talked about. Don't think they can trade Michael Wacha. And the asking price is going to be really, really high. And I don't know. If a team meets the Royals' asking price for Michael Wacha, great. I hope that happens. But it's out there. It's public that it's going to take a lot to pry Michael Wacha, the all-star, out of the Royals' hands. Because if they don't have him, who is starting games in 2027? Who is going to help you win in 2027? Because you kind of need a quick turnaround. This ownership group's burning through a little goodwill here. And we talked about it, and I'll keep coming back to this point because I think it's a fascinating point to make. Customer goodwill is not infinite. When you burn it, you burn it. Appreciate the thoughts in the YouTube chat. Great stuff going on in there today. Andrew also pointing out that the two teams in the World Cup, of the teams in the World Cup that were based in Kansas City are in the World Cup semifinals, so at least they know how to win. Yeah, England and Argentina. Kansas City of winners in the World Cup. I'm trying to find, it was Tyler who said that he was at Kansas City Stadium on Saturday in the chat. Said some games you attend in life, you're not the same person after it's over, and Saturday at Arrowhead was like that for me. I only got to watch extra time of the Argentina-Switzerland match, but man, incredible crowd and incredible match-winning goal by Argentina and reactions to that. Yeah, like something when you get it, when it comes to, you know, how the world sees and what's the term I'm looking for? When you really see how the world views soccer, how much it matters to the rest of the world, and you're a part of that, yeah, that's pretty special. Glad you got to experience that, Tyler. Thanks again for the comments in the YouTube chat. Keep them coming throughout the program. Again, also from the 785, we'll go to the text line. Wins football season again. Sincerely, a Royals fan. Hey, we got football coming up on the program here after this quick timeout. We got Matt Verderame, our NFL insider. We're going to talk some NFL football with him. But before we get there, it's not going to be ring season for the Kansas City Royals. But if it's ring season in your life, or maybe it's necklace season, pendant season, whatever, whenever you might have a need to purchase some fine jewelry, Calhoun's Jewelers in Topeka is the place to go because you will be treated like the MVP whenever you walk in their doors. They will walk you through the process. They will show you what they have in the showroom. And if there's something you have in your head, but you can't find the exact thing on the showroom floor, they'll help you design it. They are so hands-on. They are so great with their customer service. And for any occasion or season, Calhoun's Jewelers is the place to go find the jewelry of your dreams. It's Calhoun Jewelers, 18th and Gage here in Topeka. Matt Verderame joins us next to 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by Matt Verderame of Sports Illustrated and SI.com. He's our NFL insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Check out his Patreon, The Matt Verderame Show. You can also catch him on That Football Show on the KC Sports Network. Matt, somebody submitted a list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL to ESPN, and they had Patrick Mahomes ninth. I would want to be anonymous too if that was the list I handed in. I'll just start with that.
Yeah, there was maybe it's the same person, who knows, but Lamar Jackson unranked, just not in the top 10. Which, look, I think Jeremy Fowler does a really good job with these lists. He does them every year. I know Jeremy, he's a buddy of mine. He's a really, really conscientious guy. And look, I've been in that situation where you ask people to rank players, rank teams, and you get a list or two back you're just stunned by, and it's your job to just report it. So from his standpoint, I get it. ESPN, you're going to run it. But if you're ranking Patrick Mahomes ninth, if you're not ranking Lamar Jackson, you're either not a serious person or you're someone who really has no business being in football. And I don't care if that's GM. I don't care if the person's won a Super Bowl. They're insane. That's just unconscionable, but that's also kind of, I guess, the world we live in these days.
I did find it interesting that 20 different starting quarterbacks in the league appeared on the top 10 ballots that ESPN solicited for their yearly positional rankings. 20 of the 32 starting quarterbacks were in somebody's top 10. Do you think that's a reflection of broadly improving quarterback play across the league, or is that more of a reflection of the quarterbacks in the middle class kind of being indistinguishable from each other?
I think it's a product of a lot of people just doing a lot of, water carrying in a lot of cases. I think it's, even though they're anonymous, it's a lot of, I'm going to vote for my guy. I'm going to vote for my buddy's guy. I'm going to vote for somebody who I have a connection to through another front office man or a coach or an agent. But let's just be real. In no particular order, if you're looking at the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL and you have eyesight, Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Stafford, Prescott, Herbert, those are 7. I'm probably forgetting somebody else who's really obvious. Because I remember thinking there are 8 that are obvious that are in the top. So I'm forgetting some. I forget who it is. But once you get past that, okay, sure. You want to sit there and say there's but the difference between 9 and 15 isn't that big. That's fine. What is the difference between Baker Mayfield and Jordan Love or Trevor Lawrence and I don't know, pick a guy, Brock Purdy. I mean, yeah, sure, it's arguable. But how there's 20 guys who got votes, like 8 of them are like insanely odd. It's weird. It's very strange. I would think Goff, he's got to be a top 10 quarterback. Maybe Dave Towers, because I was forgetting. Like, it just seems obvious. Like, those guys would be in that list. So it's weird. But then again, you look at some of these other positional lists they've already put out there. There are guys who got voted number 1, number 2, who are also unranked in other spots. It's very bizarre.
Matt Verderame of Sports Illustrated, SI.com, is our guest. He's our NFL insider here on 580 Sports Talk, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. It is list-making season because we are, at least for the Chiefs, we're 11 days to report day in St. Joe. So we're getting all of the lists out of our system before there's actual real training camp and stuff to talk about. We can hear from the coaches and the players and fill the content minds that way. So another one of the lists that has been going around, people are ranking the offensive lines, and there are a handful of lists out there that have the Chiefs. We talked about this towards the end of last week on our show, that have the Chiefs ranked as a bottom 10 offensive line in the NFL. There are also some lists out there that have the Chiefs ranked as a top 10 offensive line in the NFL. What do you think most accounts for the dramatic difference in opinion, the standard deviation that you're seeing in some of the rankings, where you have some who believe that the Chiefs' offensive line is borderline elite, and you have some that think it's borderline garbage?
People don't watch offensive line play and or understand what they're talking about. And I say that as somebody who, if my editor at Sports Illustrated said to me, I want you to rank the 32 offensive line. If you think that I would sit down with a pen and paper and write down 1 through 32 and list those teams out, you're insane. Like, there's no way I would do that because I don't have the off the top of the head knowledge and qualifications to do that. I would call, 8 offensive line coaches. I would call defensive coordinators. I'd call D-line coaches. I'd call NFL scouts. I'd call GMs. Like that's how I would do that list. That's how I would come up with that list. Because if you said to me, just go ahead and do that, my list would be hilarious. It'd be wrong. Like I don't watch every single game every week. Do as best I can. Probably watch 8 or 9 of them every week. But like the reality is I'm human. Like I don't watch every single snap of the Cardinals' left guard. That's just impossible. Like I'm not doing that. So that's where, that's what you see. It wasn't just the Chiefs. I mean, there was the Colts. There was one team or one site that ranked them second, one that ranked them 22nd. The Saints were 9th on one list. They were 27th on another list. And like, to me, not to sound like a curmudgeon, but like, that's why to me this stuff's just garbage. None of it matters. It's even like the thing like we're talking about with Allen and Mahomes today about, Allen's 1 and Mahomes is 2. Even though Mahomes had more first place votes, whatever. Like, let's just be real. If I said to you, your life depends on it, who's your quarterback? Who do you want? Josh Allen's family would pick Mahomes. Like, the idea that somehow, I'd rather have the guy that doesn't ever win. And that's not a knock by, like, Allen's a Hall of Fame player. He's awesome. But to sit there and be like, well, who would you rather have? The guy who's got a fistful of jewelry or the guy that loses to that guy all the time? Like, you'd rather have the guy with a bunch of rings. Like, Allen's awesome. He's clearly a top 2 quarterback. But it's also like arguing, would you rather have Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes? Like, yeah, I'll take the guy that wins football games that it matters the most. Like, it's just such a bizarre. It's like when Brady played. If you sat there and you were like, you know what, actually, though, I'd rather have Phillip Rivers. But why? Oh, because he has more total yardage the last 2 years. Okay, that's nice. Well, what is his defining accomplishment? He has 9 kids and he won 8 games last year. Okay, at some point, the main thing is the main thing, and that's where these lists, like, they're just bizarre. Some of them are just very, very out of left field.
Regarding the Chiefs' offensive line, setting aside where you'd rank them on a list 1 of 32, are you more a believer in the ceiling or more concerned about the floor with this Chiefs group going into 2026? I think that's probably part of the discussion, too, is you look at the draft capital, the money spent on this group, it ought to be pretty good, but there are some question marks that are very real that you could maybe drag the floor down a little bit.
Last year, I was definitely more concerned about the floor. You'd never seen Suamataia play guard. Simmons was a rookie. The right tackle spot was in flux. I am far more into the ceiling of this. I know Suamataia can play guard. I know he's a good guard. I know what I have at center and right guard. I have one Hall of Famer, if not two. Right tackle, I feel like I at least know that Jalen Moore's like league average, competent, whatever. Like maybe even league average is great. Maybe he's the 20th best right tackle. But I know he's not a disaster. Like I've watched enough of him to know, okay, he's not just a turnstile. I mean, the biggest question I have with their offensive line, quite frankly, has nothing to do with ability because Josh Simmons can play football. My biggest question is Josh Simmons going to play football? Like, is he going to be there and engage for 17 games? Or is he going to go AWOL for a month? And no one knows where he is for days at a time. Like, the Chiefs, like a lot of teams in the AFC, and this is true of their line and of their team in general, their ceiling is being in the Super Bowl. Their floor is being 8-9, 7-10, and you're just sitting here going, what is going on? And a lot of that is tied into just these guys who you don't know what you're going to get for different reasons. Josh Simmons, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. Like, what are you going to get? But I think the Chiefs' ceiling on the offensive line is very intriguing.
Couple more questions for our NFL insider, Matt Verderame, here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt covers the league for Sports Illustrated and SI.com. As I mentioned, camps are right around the corner. It won't be long before we're actually talking about real football stuff. But one off-the-field note that I think is still of some intrigue before the camps open, why haven't the Buccaneers done anything long-term yet with Baker Mayfield? What's the holdup there, and do you think something gets done before camp or before the season starts between the Buccaneers and a quarterback who I think has earned a deal?
I think it's possible, but look, last year was a train wreck in Tampa. That team had real designs on being a Super Bowl contender, and it went 8-9 and didn't win the NFC South. And I think there's a lot of people in that building who've been there, let's face it, for a long time. Jason Light's been a GM for a long time in Tampa. Todd Bowles has been there for a long time. I think there's a little bit of, what's the rush here? Like, let's wait and see how this plays out. Because if they go 8-9 again this year, or 7-10, then you're not that excited about extending Baker Mayfield. You may very well have a new coach in the building. Who knows? Maybe even have a new GM. Like, I think that's part of this. I think it's a little bit of, look, that year was so bad at the end, and Mayfield was not good. I mean, he was a big part of the problem. Like, do you just kind of say, hey, look, let's see how this goes, and then if we have to, tag and then extend them, fine. Look, if they come to a deal that, it's going to be because Mayfield probably gives a little and the Bucs probably give a little and they find that middle ground. Otherwise, I could see this being a thing that he plays out this contract, they tag him, and then they do this dance into next summer.
Who do you think is the next quarterback who resets the market? Who's going to be first to get that big contract extension of the pending free agent group?
I mean, Lamar Jackson should be the answer. He should be the answer. He's coming up on the end of his deal here. Like he's got this year. And then I believe, I'd have to double check this, maybe he's at 2027, but either way, like he's a free agent here coming up. And I know that they've had talks. Like there's been discussion about whether or not they get a deal done here. If Lamar Jackson signs an extension, he's got to reset the market, right? I mean, since the last time he signed, he's been the two-time All-Pro and an MVP. Now, the January stuff gets in the way. That's a problem. But you'd think he'd be that guy. Stroud early on, it looked like he would be a guy who was a contender for that. Obviously, that's not the case right now. We've seen a lot of the younger guys get paid in the last few years. So I would think Lamar would be the answer. But, there's a real intrigue there. New coach. He's going to be 30 in January. He's been hurt a lot the last 5 years. I mean, 3 of the last 5 years, he's been hurt. It's been a problem. So what happens if he plays 12 games this year and they're not good? Like, I mean, I can't imagine them moving off Lamar Jackson, but weird things happen. But he would be my answer.
Lamar does have a year. He does have 2027 on his current deal.
Yeah.
The free agents in that same class at quarterback, it's a fascinating list because you mentioned Stroud. Bryce Young is the other rookie who would be up for an extension before that. Also, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones might be playing for new contracts.
I mean, look, Darnold is fascinating because if they have another strong run again, then you start getting into, okay, well, he played very well in Minnesota. Now he's played well in Seattle. He's won a Super Bowl. And then the guy who's really interesting to me because he's extension eligible after the season is Caleb Williams. Like, what if Williams goes out and he's a top 3 MVP candidate this year and they go to the NFC Championship game or something? Like, I'm high on the Bears. I know a lot of people think they're going to regress, and they might. They very well might. But I believe in the infrastructure there with Ben Johnson. I think they've really figured some things out. Dennis Allen's not a good coach. He's a great coordinator. What if Caleb Williams goes out this year and throws for 4,400 yards and 30-some-odd touchdowns, and the Bears are in the NFC title game? Like, does he sit there and say, pay me now? And if you're the Bears, maybe you're better off paying him now and waiting a couple of years to accomplish even more. Then it's going to cost you more money. So he's the one kind of dark horse in the race. I could see him being very interesting.
Matt Verderame covers the National Football League for Sports Illustrated and SI.com. Also has the Matt Verderame Show Patreon you can check out, subscribe to, and he's on That Football Show on the KC Sports Network, and he's on 580 Sports Talk every Monday at this time. Matt, always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
That is Matt Verderame. We'll take a timeout, come back with the good, the bad, the ugly from the week that was on 580 Sports Talk. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly from the sports weekend that was. My good, it was not just the final World Cup game in Kansas City, which, again, provided dramatics. Argentina beating 10-man Switzerland 3-1. Julian Alvarez with a mind-bending curler from the top of the box to give Argentina the winning goal. They would add another deep into the second period of added time to avoid the shootout and move on to the semifinals. It wasn't just that match and that atmosphere. It was everything that Kansas City brought to this year's World Cup. A great host site, great atmospheres at the stadium, great place to train. It has gone above and beyond even what I anticipated. I knew that Kansas City was going to show out for the World Cup, not just because of the passion that the city obviously has for soccer, but of the excitement that people would have for sharing Kansas City with the world. And it delivered and then some. And also happened to deliver some of the most memorable matches of the entire tournament. And the city itself delivered 2 of the 4 semifinalists, which is not bad. I mean, Argentina and England both training in the area and moving on. Must be something in the barbecue, I suppose. But that's my good, Kansas City's World Cup. It may have come to a close, but it was a tremendous showing for Kansas City. My bad from the weekend, I'm going to go with the Royals getting swept for the 8th time. Nobody's been swept more than the Royals have, and that is my bad. My ugly. So I guess there was a UFC fight last night. You guys know that's not my thing. Conor McGregor was fighting for the first time in 5 years and blew out his knee immediately, and the fight was a farce. My ugly is not Conor McGregor tearing his knee up, because I think it's bad things happening to bad people I don't really have a problem with. My bad is some of y'all suckers paid for that. And I hate that happened to you. I hate that you got suckered in to watch that washed up bad guy fight again. More coming later. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on this Monday. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, on your mobile device, on the MSC Radio app, and on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We're hanging out over there. A lot of people are hanging out in the chat today. Once again, a hello to them. Why don't you jump into that live chat on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Think of it like a much more fun version of your work Slack, your G chat at work. Hop on into the live chat on our YouTube channel. 580 Sports Talk is where we broadcast live every day. So say hello to your fellow listeners and grow the 580 Sports Talk community. And, of course, go subscribe. All it costs you is nothing. Costs you nothing. Just a click or a tap of your screen. We've got 2 more hours to hang out with you today. No Royals baseball tonight. No Royals baseball for the next 4 days. A welcome reprieve from the worst team in baseball. That's not fair. The joint worst team in baseball with the Los Angeles Angels. There we go. That's a fairer accounting of what's happening here. But no Royals baseball for the next 4. This is the dead period, the All-Star Week. Home Run Derby is tonight. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the program because, after all, there will be a Royal participating. Maybe the Royals can win something tonight. Jack Caglione is going to be in the Derby tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on, including the new rules. There are new rules for this year's Home Run Derby. We're also going to get into those ESPN.com quarterback rankings. Somebody ranked Patrick Mahomes the 9th best quarterback in the NFL. I'm not over it. I shouldn't be as upset about it as I am. But you know what? If you're gonna say something like that, like, I guess you can just say anything. I guess that's what, at the end of the day, you can just say stuff. It's free. So we got that. We got headlines, obviously. Countdown to kickoff. Countdown to Chiefs kickoff will continue. We got a retired jersey number on today's countdown. What is wrong with you, of course. And a couple of conversations from Big 12 Media Day coming up here this hour, because we have not yet exhausted the content well from my trip to Frisco, Texas, and the Star. We're going to hear from a couple of skill players today. Joe Jackson, the Star junior running back at Kansas State and holder of the single-game school record for rushing yards, and Cam Pickett, the wide receiver from Kansas, who is one of very few skill position players for Kansas that returns with significant experience from last year. And Cam Pickett definitely, as I was mentioning earlier, and you'll hear me mention again in the interview, he took the Got That Bleep On award. He had the Got It On award locked down.
Yeah.
Looked very sharp. So you'll hear that a little bit later on this hour as well. Again, the YouTube chat, 785-272-9429. You can also interact, or that's the text line. The YouTube chat is just on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Brother, tell me about it. I'm lucky I identify the day correctly every time on any given show. That's just what being a father of a 2-year-old is like. But, and that sounds like I'm blaming it or complaining. I'm not. I love my son. It's the best thing in the world being his dad. It also it blurs the days. The other part that blurs the days is my wife isn't working.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
When my girlfriend not working as well, both teachers.
Yeah.
And we were talking about days the other day because she's flying out to go to the beach with her family and do a bunch of family stuff while I'm here. And we were talking about days, a couple of days. I was like, it's on Tuesday, right? And she goes, I don't even know what today is. She was like, I don't have to know what today is.
So, are you looking forward to some husband meals while she's gone? Just eating like an absolute raccoon?
No, I'm actually gonna go on a diet while she's gone.
Okay. Were you intending on keeping that from her, and you're spilling some beans here? Or?
No, I mean she makes great meals.
Oh, okay.
And I was just gonna cook some taco meat and eat taco meat every night of the week.
Nah, I respect that.
Just trying to save some money here.
No, sure.
If I wasn't in the mode of saving money, I think I would probably get like Chipotle, Jersey Mike's, like just flip back and forth.
Hey,
but no,
those beef prices are crazy. The fast food prices are crazy, and you can't buy produce without worrying you're going to get the runs.
Yeah.
So that's what making America healthy again looks like, apparently. So that is something you've got to look forward to a little bit later on. Again, 785-272-9429 is the text line. You can also interact with us in the YouTube, 580 Sports Talk. Let's jump into this conversation with Joe Jackson, because I think that what you're going to hear when I play back this conversation, number one, you could tell that Joe is genuinely like excited to get things going and be the man in the K-State backfield. That was not obviously how he entered last year. He entered as the pretty clear-cut number 2 behind Dylan Edwards, and he ended the year as, again, the record holder at Kansas State for rushing yards in a single game. So given how he finished last year, kind of feels like the sky's the limit for Joe Jackson. And yet, Kansas State went into the portal and grabbed a couple of guys with high major experience at the position. And if you think that was going to dishearten Mr. Jackson or make him feel like he has to look over his shoulder, I think you will find that he does not, in fact, feel that way. And that is no disrespect to those who are in as his competition. I just think he welcomes having a couple of really good players in the backfield with him. So, Joe Jackson, junior running back, Kansas State. I caught up with him last week in Frisco. Here's that conversation on 580 Sports Talk. From Big 12 Media Days at the Star in Frisco, Texas, on 580 Sports Talk, Dan Lucero sitting down with the running back for the Kansas State Wildcats, Joe Jackson. Joe, how's your summer been so far?
Summer's been pretty well. Having fun, working pretty hard, building new relationships. Summer's been going pretty well. I can't complain. You in the golf league with Avery Johnson? I was talking to Avery about the golf earlier. Yeah, I'm not in the golf league, but I will be here till tomorrow. We have the leadership council. We all have to go out and play like 9 holes tomorrow, I think.
How you feeling about your game? You ready for that?
It's going to be interesting.
Do you play a lot or ever?
I've never played
golf. Never in your
life? I've never played golf before in my life. I've been to Top Golf a couple of times and just hit the ball like as hard as I can. But
that's good strategy.
Strategically and hole by hole, I don't. We're going to see. It's going to be very interesting. I got confidence in myself, though. I'll be pretty fine.
Easier to get it in the hole the closer you are to it. So, yeah, just bombs away and good luck from there. You come into this season as the number one running back on the depth chart. That's new for you. You finished last season in that spot. Now you enter the year not just in that role, but as the leader of the running back room. In what ways do you feel an increased leadership responsibility on this team, and how are you trying to grow as a leader on this group?
That's a good you bring up that point. For me, I've kind of struggled with leadership since I've been in college. I've been challenged from previous strength coaches. I've been challenged from my dad. I've been challenged from family members. They always told me I can be a leader on this team. That's something I've been working on these last couple of years, and I feel like now I'm at the point where I don't have to worry about questioning myself ever. I feel like I'm the best leader I can be. Each still getting better each day, being a better leader each and every single day. But just the point I am at now compared to the point I was at probably 2 years ago, where the leadership aspect is like night and day difference. I feel like I'm a very good leader now. I've come a long way. And then just within that running back room, I'm just trying to show the guys how to do it, how to do things each and every single day, no matter the incoming guys or the transfers that came in. Just showing them the way of doing things. And one thing I like about it is no guys, they ever question nothing. Whatever I have to say, whatever anybody has to say, everybody's going to listen and try to make it best benefit them the best they can.
You've got some new blood, as you mentioned, coming into the running back room, not just the incoming freshmen, of course, but Rodney Fields is new, Jay Harris is new. What do those guys bring to the room, and how can those guys help the team this year?
It excites me a lot. We got a lot of depth in that room now. It excites me a lot because it benefits the team in a way. A defense, I don't know how they're going to stop it because once I come out, another guy can go in and get it done. And once that guy comes out, another guy can go in and get it done. So it's just going to be constant for a defense all night long to try to handle that and stop that. And then, like, the goals that we have, how far we're trying to play this year, how far we're trying to go. You can't just have one running back. You won't probably make it too far with just one running back, just the natural wear and tear on the body. One running back probably won't be able to survive all the way till January, till national championship time. So when it comes to that, you have a lot of guys that can get it done. You still gonna have a lot of guys that can get it done still when it comes to January. And for me, it'll take take a little bit off of me for sure, and just give them guys the chance to go in and do what they have to do because I know they can get it done. Like I said, we have a lot of guys that can go in and get it done.
Joe Jackson, junior running back for the Kansas State Wildcats, our guest here on 580 Sports Talk from Big 12 Football Media Days at the Star in Frisco, Texas. What's it been like having Colin Klein as the head coach? What do you like about his style and his offense that he's going to bring in this year?
Man, just him being a person who he is. I love Coach Klein to death. Just the type of person he is. He's a huge people's person. Like if you have a regular conversation with him, having a regular conversation with you like it's nothing. Like you can't even tell he's probably a head coach, former Heisman runner-up, none of that. He's just a huge people's person. He loves everybody. He cares for everybody. He listens to everybody. Whatever I have to say, he's going to listen. He's going to act on it. And like his competitiveness is like it's unimaginable. That's one thing I love about him. How competitive he is. I feel like that's the reason why I chose Kansas State in the first place, because he definitely played a role in why I came to Kansas State. He recruited me. So just his competitive aspect, it's crazy. But I love him.
He talked about the new old school. When he got the job, that was one of the things that he said, one of the taglines from his opening press conference, and it's a great slogan. It's going to sell a lot of T-shirts, right? Mm-hmm. But you've got to apply that as a football team. So what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you to be the new old school? How do you hope to embody that as an individual?
The new old school to me kind of feels like, now I know everybody knows that college football has changed in a way. It's not the same how it's used to be. It's moving. Things are changing, and that's the new school part of it. But with him bringing the new old school back in, it's kind of going back to the days that he was here. He played at Kansas State, and he done the things he's done. So bringing some ways of doing that back into what we're doing now, it has been hard for sure. But I feel like it has definitely helped us more than it has been hard. It's helped us tremendously, and it's definitely, I feel like it's going to take us to where we want to go this year, just by him bringing in that old school part of it to the new school.
We're talking with Joe Jackson here at Big 12 Media Days, junior running back for the Kansas State Wildcats. A lot of great running backs have worn that K-State uniform, even just in the years that I've been covering the team. You think about guys like Deuce Vaughn, obviously going back to Darren Sproles. None of them have run for more yards in a game wearing that uniform, though, than Joe Jackson. And not that you ever lacked for confidence as a player, but having been able to have a game like that in a road environment like Utah against a team like Utah, what does that do for your confidence as a player to know that if I'm capable of this, if I can have a performance like this, I'm capable of anything out there on the field?
Yeah, for sure. And like what you just said, I feel like that's my mindset, like every day. I know I can get it done. I know I can do it. I know I can accomplish anything I want to accomplish. So I never ever lacked confidence. I knew I can always do it. And I just, offensive line, us as a team, it was not just me. It was the whole team. Everybody who wore that shirt that day, the purple that day, they played a huge factor in that, and I couldn't have done it without none of them. And I feel like all of us had the confidence. We worked very hard. It was not an easy season, and we worked our butts off to get to that point. And once we got to that point, we was able to go out and display what we really could do, like what we really had confidence that we can do the whole time.
That was part of a really strong finish to the season for you. You had that game. You played really well against Colorado in the home and the regular season finale. What can you take from your performance down the stretch last year and hope to build on as a player this season?
Just doing what I did last year, like you said, yeah, it helps confidence for sure. But just me being me, I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing this year. Not go out and try to do too much, not try to go out and be somebody who I'm not. Just go out and be the best version of Joe Jackson that Joe Jackson can be. And I feel like if Joe Jackson goes out and be the best version of him, then everything else is going to come along with that.
A couple more questions for Joe Jackson, junior running back, Kansas State Wildcats here at Big 12 Football Media Days. You're from Haines City, Florida. If I'm ever find myself in Haines City, Florida, where do I need to go get a meal? Where's the spot I need to go get fed?
I would tell you my grandma's house.
What was your grandma's specialty?
I don't know. She has a lot of specialties. You know, that old school, that old homeschool cooking.
You come back first night back home. You say, "Grandma, cook me this. This is what I'm
gonna tell her. Off rip, I'm gonna tell her a sweet potato pie.
Man,
can you please make me a sweet potato pie? And she's gonna do whatever. She'll have it done. She said, "Okay, I'll have it done in 4 o'clock. Come pick it up, whatever." But yeah, and then my mom's kitchen too. Like, my number one meal, she knows what it is every time I come home. I just ate it 2 days ago when I was home. She has to cook it every time I go home. It's oxtails, rice, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, cornbread, and her famous red velvet cake.
Ooh, famous red velvet cake. It's too close to lunch for us to be talking about this, Joe. Have you learned to cook at all? You picked up any tips from them along the way?
I tried to a little bit here and there, but with the stuff I'm doing, I don't have too much time for cooking. But my favorite thing probably to cook is chicken Alfredo or some variation of some type of Alfredo. I feel like I've got that down pat. I can probably cook it with my eyes closed. And I always loved Alfredo. So that's probably something I wanted to learn how to cook. So that'd probably be the most thing that I cooked, other than besides breakfast, which I feel like is easy for everybody to cook. But chicken Alfredo is probably what I cook the most.
Last thing for you, Joe. Have you had a Monster Energy drink since you have been here at Monster Energy Big 12 Football Media Days? Are you an energy drink guy at all, or what do you?
Not really. I don't really drink energy drinks. I want to say I don't think I've ever drunk a Monster drink before, but that could change here pretty soon.
Hey, listen, if they're paying the school, you got to have the patch on the uniform. You may as well at least sample the wares. I haven't had one. It's fine. You and I, you can keep that between us. We don't have to tell Brett Yormark about that.
Yes, sir.
Joe Jackson,
Yes, sir.
junior running back for the Kansas State Wildcats, joining us from Big 12 Football Media Days. Joe, enjoyed watching you play last season. Look forward to even bigger and better things in 2026. Best of luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
So that was Joe Jackson showing off command of the third person at times during that interview, bragging on his culinary skills. Can't say I've ever had oxtails.
No, but you said between you saying Joe Jackson and him saying, I think we got Joe Jackson like 3 or 4 times in the matter of like 12 seconds.
It is, and he's not the most, like, he's got a ways to go to be like the most famous Joe Jackson, right? Like if I go and I try to, if I Google the name Joe Jackson, the first name that comes up is Michael Jackson's dad.
Yes.
The second name that comes up is the singer. Is Stepping Out. You familiar at all with that Joe Jackson? The most famous sports Joe Jackson is, of course, Shoeless Joe Jackson. So he's got a ways to go. Like, he is not on the first page here of the Google search that I just did on my computer for Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
He's not on page 1. He's got a ways to go to get on page 1. But the other part of that is Joe Jackson is an undeniably cool name, and it sounds cool when you say it all together. Joe Jackson. And I don't blame him for throwing a little third person there, because it's an awesome name. Anyhow, the thing, again, that stood out to me in the course of talking to Joe there, he's talking about the new guys that have come in to the program at running back, Rodney Fields, Jay Harris. And he's excited for those guys because he knows they've got ability. He knows that if he's got to come off the field, that there's not going to be a drop-off. He feels like those guys can be able to produce in the same way that he can produce, and then when he gets on the field, he's rested, he's ready to go, and that will get the best out of him. That understanding in the running back room, there's 2 ways that can go. Sometimes, you like the Chiefs wide receiver room last year, saying everybody got to eat, and then you find out that, well, not everybody's eating the same as the next man, and it can maybe be the kind of thing, the kind of a vibe you want to avoid. But if you truly have a position group where that is the attitude, and that has to start from the top down, that has to be the attitude that the number one guy in your depth chart has. That, hey, if I'm going to come out of the game, I know these guys are going to hold it down, and they're going to do great, and then I'm going to get back in the game, and I'm going to be even better because I'm going to have fresher legs, and I'm going to be able to do this for longer, and I'll be better as the season wears on. If that is his attitude, that's going to permeate not just the running back room at Kansas State, but that's going to be the entire team's attitude. Yeah. If one of their leaders, if one of their best guys says, hey, I'm fired up for the guys who are behind me on the depth chart to show what they can do, and I understand that their success contributes to my success and contributes to the team's success. That is not, you don't run into that every day. Like, that is not the most common trait that you see necessarily is a player with that belief. And so I thought that was really neat to hear from Joe Jackson. Made me really excited to see what he and Rodney and Jay can do at that running back spot for Kansas State. And I think the running game is going to maybe make a little bit more sense this year, maybe be a little bit better schemed, and maybe, just maybe, teams are going to have to take the quarterback a little bit more seriously as a threat in the running game this year based on how it's schemed. Of course, maybe none of it matters. They don't get the offensive line completely straightened out. That's still, I think, the biggest concern, the biggest potential impediment to Kansas State's success this year. But it wasn't a great offensive line last year, and they ran for 1 billion yards at Utah in November. So I still think there's some potential there. I still think there's some upside. I think there's some upside with Joe Jackson. I'm excited to see what it looks like with him at the top of the depth chart. Later this hour, we're going to play you my chat with Cam Pickett, the wide receiver at Kansas, and continuing our Big 12 Football Media Days coverage. We've got interviews to carry us into the middle of the week. We've got one more K-State and two more KU interviews to play you, including Cam Pickett coming up at the bottom of this hour. We've also got What Is Wrong With You coming up this hour as well. So hope you'll stick and stay with us for that. But before we get to a timeout here, I want to tell you about my friends at Eagle Auto Wash and Detailing Salon here in the capital city. They are capital city owned and operated, and they offer better prices than the competition. And what beats that, right? You want to support local. You want to support people who are rooted in this community, and not only are you supporting local when you get your car washed at Eagle Auto Wash and Detailing Salon, you are also getting a better value. And there's no better value than the unlimited wash pass, which you can purchase to suit your needs as a vehicle owner. You can get the extras package. Maybe you don't want all the extras every time you come in, but if you get an unlimited wash pass with the extras included, that gives you the opportunity to pick and choose a la carte. Maybe one time you want the car vacuumed. Maybe another time you want it waxed. You have those options. You have choices that they give you with your wash passes, your unlimited wash passes at Eagle Auto Wash and Detailing Salon. Go see them and soar with the Eagle once a week. We'll take a break. What is Wrong with You is next on 580 Sports Talk. So what is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? We've got two brand new stories to start a brand new week on What is Wrong with You. And I'm going to go first, and we're going to go to North Carolina. We're going to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. Ever been on a party bus, Spencer?
Yes, once.
What was the occasion?
Someone's 21st birthday.
Somebody's 21st birthday? So it was in college?
Yes.
Were you 21?
Yes.
Okay, you can plead the fifth here at any point if you need to.
I was 21.
Okay. All right. Was it a good time? You should ride around, oh my gosh. Huntington, thank you. I was going to say Marshalltown. That's obviously wrong.
Yes, it was quite a bit crazy.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
All night?
No, I mean it was like an afternoon into an evening, and then we got dropped off at a bar. And then they came and picked us up at the bar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of dudes?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a bunch of dudes. All right. Hey, nothing wrong with
night
that.
out.
Dudes night out, get the party bus. No, that sounds like a good time. I've never had the occasion. I'm familiar with the concept of the party bus, and generally, you get on the bus and there's booze, there's beer, there's liquor, and you have the party bus ferry you around so you can have a good time and you can get intoxicated without having to drive. Well, here we have a story about what happens when the party bus driver
Oh, no.
is in the party, having a little bit of the party to himself.
No.
A party bus ran into 3 vehicles before crashing into a house in Raleigh early Saturday morning. Happened around 12:40 a.m. 58-year-old Gary Curse was driving a company vehicle while under the influence and with a revoked license. One person.
What? How does he have a revoked license if he's the party bus driver?
I don't know. That would be a question I would have.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to rent the party bus, like, I might have questions about the driver. Like, I would like to, I'm not going to run a full background check, but, like, hey, you sure the driver has a license? Are you sure the driver's not going to come to the back while we're stopped at a place and grab a couple of PBRs for himself?
Or maybe
take a pull
shots
from the bottle of vodka?
Yeah.
That
would be a question I would have now.
Yes. Thankfully, only one person was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Curse is facing the following charges: DWI of a commercial vehicle, driving while license is revoked. Why did his license get revoked, Spencer? A prior DWI conviction.
Oh, wow.
Reckless driving to endanger, 2 counts of injury to real property, and felony injury to utility wires. I wonder what the dividing line is between felony and misdemeanor injury to utility wires.
Jeez.
If they say ouch. He was also charged with failure to maintain lane control and possession of an open container of alcohol in the passenger seat area. He was also arrested for a hit and run on June 27th.
Seems like the company should have fired this guy.
Yeah, the party bus company maybe should have. That's the company that I need doing background checks.
Yeah.
Like, if I hire the party bus company, I want to trust that the party bus company isn't going to put a guy behind the wheel of my party bus that's having a little too much party himself.
I think there's a lawsuit there.
If I'm the person that got taken to the hospital,
yeah,
100%. 100% I'm considering my options. Anyway, so, he should not have been on the party bus. Spencer, what is your story today?
We're going to Broward County, Florida. Employees at an HVAC company in that county found their cars damaged when they arrived at work after a disgruntled former coworker shot the vehicles with projectiles on July 9th, according to the sheriff's office. The Broward County Sheriff said its deputies responded to American Air and Heat after employees found that 8 of their vehicles were damaged by what appeared to be projectiles fired from a firearm. Investigators reviewed surveillance video showing a man wearing a dark hood sweatshirt with a gold logo on the front. BCSO said he also wore knee pads and entered the company's property, firing projectiles at the vehicles. Another camera captured the man arriving and leaving on a sports bike. Investigators asked the company's employees if there were any disgruntled workers, and they replied that Chase Hemingway was recently terminated from employment and expressed anger over leaving. The sheriff's office said that he was pulled over by the Melbourne Police Department shortly after he fired at the vehicles. He was arrested at his home on July 10th and charged with criminal mischief and armed burglary. They discovered the sports bike, a Vulcan M17 launcher, and a box of projectiles that matched those located in the damaged vehicles.
Okay, so they keep saying projectiles here. A Vulcan M17 is what is known as a less lethal launcher and a paintball marker. This appears to be a paintball gun.
Yes.
So when we're talking about projectiles, it's weird that they won't refer to them directly as what they are, but like, it was probably paintballs. He probably shot up the joint with some paintballs.
Yeah. Also, he even returned to the business stating that he was underpaid and going to make it right, according to a quote.
Clearly was disgruntled. Yeah. You know, you never want to be, and there's 2 sides to every story, right? Like maybe they didn't treat him real well over there. Maybe he was right to be disgruntled. But if you're going to get your revenge, you better not be caught in 4K in the act, man. You can't have the traceable bike. You can't be turning and looking at the cameras. Yeah, it can't be that. You got to be a little smarter about your revenge. I don't know. You can't shoot the place up with paintballs or whatever. I don't know. Mail him a box of glitter. Mail him a box of dog crap. I don't know. You got to have a better way of being a little bit more anonymous when you get your revenge. That's not to say he was right to want revenge. I'm just saying, two sides. Got to hear both sides. All right, who we got today? I think you got to go with the party bus.
Yeah.
The Vance called him the designated drunk in the YouTube
I also
chat.
think there's two what is wrong with yous in that story. The party bus driver and the party bus company.
Yes.
Because, there's a lot going on there prior to him crashing the vehicle.
I will say this, though. Wouldn't you note it? Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe the party bus is such a good time that you are paying absolutely no attention to the guy ferrying you around. But depending on how many people were in the bus, I think one of them maybe said, hey, did our bus driver just pour himself a Jack and Coke? Is our bus driver... Is that a bottle of Hennessy in the front seat with our driver?
I mean, did they say there was a bottle with him?
Open container.
Okay. I didn't know if it was in a the
bus driver's cool.
I didn't know if it was in something like this.
Give him a bush latte. He's cool.
Yeah.
No, can't do it. Yep. The designated drunk, the party bus driver who partied too hard. He is our first winner for the week on What Is Wrong With You. When we come back after this break, we're going to have another conversation from Big 12 Media Days with Kansas wide receiver Cam Pickett on 580 Sports Talk. .440 on 580 Sports Talk. Glad you all are with us on this Monday afternoon. Dan and Spencer with you. We continue our content dump from Big 12 Football Media Days. Still got even more in the chamber after today, if you can believe it. There were a lot of players from Kansas and Kansas State that we had the occasion to speak to over the course of Big 12 Football Media Days. One of those was Cam Pickett, the wide receiver from Kansas, who debuted with the team last year, a transfer out of Ball State, and made a promising start to his Kansas career. Caught 2 touchdowns in the opener against Fresno State and another one the week after against Wagner. Numbers slowed a bit after that, but he did end up the season with 45 receptions total for 476 yards. Just those 3 touchdowns. Didn't again visit the end zone after week 1, I guess, of the season. But somebody who will step into a bigger role this year, the most experienced receiver back for whoever it is that ends up winning the starting quarterback job. Cam Pickett, I can tell you one thing. If he plays as good as he looked with the suit and everything he had going on fashion-wise at Big 12 Football Media Days, he might be first team all-conference by the end of the year. Here's my conversation from Frisco, Texas last Wednesday with Cam Pickett.
Big 12 Football Media Days from the Star at Frisco, Texas, here on 580 Sports Talk. Speaking now with senior wide receiver for the Kansas Jayhawks, Cam Pickett. And Cam, first thing that jumps out, you look sharp. You got the suit is strong. Yep. The ice looks resplendent. It's gleaming in the light. Who outfitted you? Tell me about where you picked up all this.
My mom got me together.
Okay, yeah, you got to. Mother knows best always. What color would you say that suit is? Kind of like dark blue?
Yeah, it's dark blue, navy, kind of.
No, very sharp. I think you win the award for best dressed. I got to say, by far, you're the sharpest dressed young man who sat down at my table. I can tell you that.
I appreciate
so
that.
far. So you look good, you play good, right? Yeah. So that's going to be the hope for you this coming season. You're one of the few returning guys in this offense, and so that gives you, a little bit of knowledge of maybe what to expect from Coach Leipold's camp. But everybody's learning the new Andy Kotelnicki offense. Tell me a little bit about, from your perspective as a wide receiver, what it's like to be in Andy Kotelnicki's offense, what you like about it, and how you feel like you fit in it.
It's fun. He finds ways to give the best athletes the ball and just lets us make plays, whether it be down the field or in space. So it's exciting.
You've got 3 guys competing for the starting quarterback role, and that obviously is going to be iron sharpening iron in the quarterback room. But whoever the quarterback ends up being, what are you hoping that you can offer that quarterback, whether it's Isaiah Marshall, whether it's Cole Ballard, whether it's Chase Jenkins? What are you trying to offer? What relationship are you trying to build with whoever it is that wins that job?
Really, I just want to make the game as easy as possible for them. Being open, being where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there, and just being able to have them know that they have a reliable target somewhere on the field at all times.
We're talking to Cam Pickett, senior wide receiver for the Kansas Jayhawks, here from Big 12 Football Media Days at the Star in Frisco, Texas. Last year being your first year with the program, you came out of the portal from Ball State. Is it easier your second year, just kind of knowing, where everything is, your head coaches and most of the coaching staff really well? Does that make for an easier spring, an easier transition for you? Do you feel like you're maybe more prepared at this point this year than you were at this point last year?
I would say definitely more comfortable, just because you know what to expect in a lot of ways. You've been here before, so you're used to it. But it's also, you got to make sure you don't get complacent and get too comfortable as well, because you don't still have goals I'm working towards. So I don't want to just sit back and let the moment slip by.
As somebody who has been in the wide receiver room with some new faces coming in out of the transfer portal, does that put you in a position where you feel like you have an opportunity to be a leader, whether it's a leader by example or vocal leadership, whichever one you're comfortable with?
Oh, for sure. That's been a way that all the coaches have challenged me a lot, being a leader this year. And I feel like I've been stepping into that role with a lot of confidence. And just like you said, kind of showing guys coming in. We got a lot of young guys, just showing them the ropes.
Nick McMillan is in for his senior year. Like you, he's a MAC guy, played at Buffalo. So you've got that in common. You know that league. You know the bright lights of places like Akron and Bowling Green and Muncie, Indiana, of course. But what is he going to bring to the wide receiver room?
Oh, he's going to be great for us. He's a very dynamic player. He can catch the ball, a lot of hard catches. He gets open, he runs good routes, and he has speed too. So he's going to be very good for us.
Talking to Cam Pickett, senior wide receiver for the Kansas Jayhawks, joining us from Big 12 Football Media Days here at the Star in Frisco, Texas. You guys get to go overseas this year. You're playing in London in the first ever Union Jack Classic against Arizona State. What are you looking forward to the most about an opportunity to go overseas to London?
Really just playing somewhere new. Get to play in Wembley Stadium, super iconic, arguably the most iconic stadium in the world. And being the first college game there is just exciting. Try to get the first touchdown there.
Oh, yeah. Got to do that, right? Got to put your stamp on the Union Jack Classic for sure. Going from the MAC to the Big 12, playing in some of the Big 12 venues last year, what did you feel like was maybe the toughest place that you played in the Big 12 last year?
It was very loud at Texas Tech.
Sure.
They had a really good crowd. And really all the away games it's always fun to me because you get to go to a different environment, be around new fans, a little hostile environment, but that's kind of what makes it fun. So,
what's the toughest place to play at in the MAC?
The toughest place to play in the MAC? Anywhere in November, because it's always cold.
the temperatures. Yeah. What? I've always been curious about this. So you transfer from Ball State. This is your second year at Kansas. You transfer from Ball State. I imagine you've got a bunch a Ball State issue, team gear, T-shirts, jackets, pullovers. What do you do with all of that? Because you can't very well wear it around.
You can't wear it
no,
around.
you can't wear it around the KU facility. So does that go back home? Do you give it to some friends, family? What happens to all the gear?
Yeah, it's sitting at home somewhere right now. I give some stuff away, friends, family, got nephews, so they anything that I have they want. So
you got people running around Chicago representing Ball State.
Yeah.
There you go. Cam Pickett, senior wide receiver for the Kansas Jayhawks, joining the program. You're from Chicago, grew up there. Tell me something about Chicago that people don't know, or at least where you grew up in Chicago that people don't know. People know pizza. People know, it gets windy. People know you got 2 baseball teams and you got the lake. Tell me something about Chicago that you love that maybe people don't know.
Thing about Chicago that I love, just the culture in general. House music. House music is a big thing in Chicago.
Okay.
I have family who is really big in house music. But also, Chicago is very slept on when it comes to football. We're known a lot for basketball, being good that way. But in the last couple of years, I guess ever since my class and ever since then, there's a lot of really high-level football players coming out.
Did you grow up a Bears fan? Or?
I did.
Okay. How you feeling about the Bears right now?
Yeah, it's exciting, man.
Caleb Williams got going in the right direction.
Yeah, he's excited. Some good games last year. They got you on the edge of the seat, but they somehow pull through every time. So
Cubs and the White Sox both in contention. You a baseball guy at all?
Oh yeah, South Side. So
South Side. Okay.
Cubs fan.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not
no.
White Sox,
I was about to say, wait a minute.
I'm
Tripping. White Sox making moves and moving back up in that American League at the expense of the Royals, of course. But
I actually went to a game in Chicago when they played the Royals.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. That's awesome. A couple more questions here for Cam Pickett, senior wide receiver for the Kansas Jayhawks here at Big 12 Football Media Days. Of course, sponsored by Monster Energy. I have to ask, have you had one today? Have you had a Monster?
No, I haven't had a Monster. I'm not much of an energy drink guy, or caffeine in general.
Not caffeine, no caffeine in general, not coffee, soda, nothing like that?
Yeah, nah, but I seen some people sipping on a couple of them, so they said it's good, so I might have to check it out.
I kind of feel like I can't get out of here without at least trying one.
Yeah, I got to try one.
Yeah, I'm more of a coffee guy. I had a bunch in the morning. I've been here all day, but I got to at least try some of the. I mean, if they're going to spend $1 million per school, I mean,
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, we may as well, right? Yeah. Last question for you: the team last year, you guys were maybe a play or two away in a handful of games from being where you wanted to be as a team, and just didn't make those plays, didn't finish those games. Ended up just shy of bowl eligibility. What does this group have to focus on to make sure that you get over the hump in 2026 and you're back where you want to be in the Big 12 and you're back where you want to be playing in bowl games, playing in meaningful games in October and November?
We just got to finish. It takes 60 minutes of football, and, it's a cliche, but it's really true, and we've experienced that firsthand. Like, it doesn't matter if you play a good 3 quarters if your 4th quarter is not good. So we just got to focus on finishing. And that's big emphasis for us this offseason. So I think we'll go out and execute this year.
Well, Cam Pickett, senior wide receiver, Kansas Jayhawks, joining us here on 580 Sports Talk from Big 12 Football Media Days in Frisco, Texas. Cam, appreciate you taking the time, and look forward to watching you on the field in 2026.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
That was Cam Pickett, Southsider, and wide receiver for the Kansas Jayhawks. I genuinely did wonder. I talked to Leroy Harris about it too. We had Leroy for Kansas. We had him live on the show on Wednesday from out there in Frisco, and I asked him the same question. Like, when you transfer, what do you do with all the team gear? Is it just like, oh yeah, I stumbled across this Goodwill on the south side of Chicago, and man, if you're a Ball State Cardinals fan, you want to come and hit it up because clearly somebody just dropped off a whole cart full of Ball State gear. Or, you give it to your little cousins, or, you keep it for later, some of it maybe a keepsake, or.
I mean, look, you played there.
You did. So, you put on that uniform.
You can keep it. I just,
It probably depends on, are the memories good, or, or did you leave on good terms? Did you leave on bad terms?
Yeah, I mean, if I had a dozen plus things, I would probably choose 1 or 2 and keep them.
Yeah, just hang on to it.
Oh, this was the game in which I wore this to the game.
Yeah.
That I, broke a 90-yard touchdown run.
Sure.
Catch and run. Something like that I would keep, but I think you're right. You probably go to Goodwill. Dump some stuff at Goodwill.
That might be the new thing to do, because Lawrence got to have a Goodwill, right?
Yeah.
I know. Pop by the Lawrence Goodwill right when the transfer portal closes.
So there's Goodwill. There's a Goodwill near the Commanders facility.
Sure.
And they do a dump after in September.
Oh yeah,
With all the guys that leave their stuff that are on the 90.
Mm-hmm.
That they just leave a bunch of stuff there. It all goes in, and they have the little tags on the back so you can see who had it.
Interesting. Yeah, that might be the wave to get discount sports gear from here on out. We'll take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, we continue our countdown to Chiefs kickoff. We got a retired number today. That's next on 580 WIBW. .454 on 580 Sports Talk. Wrapping up this edition, this second hour of this edition of 580 Sports Talk. We still got one more hour to hang out. Got used to those 5 o'clock, 5:30 shows last week. Apparently.
Yeah.
We got the full 3 hours for you today. We're off at 6 o'clock here on 580 Sports Talk. And coming up in the final hour of the show, we got our 580 Sports Talk headlines. We're going to talk about those nonsense ESPN quarterback rankings. We'll preview the Home Run Derby tonight. I know Jeff Passan is on the record on ESPN television earlier today saying he thinks the new format is going to stink. I actually think it's going to be better television.
Me too.
Problem is, it's not going to be on television. It's going to be on Netflix. So there's that. Plus,
that's not a problem.
Plus, Cags is in it. Yeah, it's not a problem for some people, but it's a problem for others.
I think it's great because I think ESPN's product over the last...
Yeah, it was ESPN's broadcast of it that was starting to stink over the years.
It was so great. I think when I was a kid and Berman was like, back.
Used to have some juice.
And then now I didn't think it had any juice, so I'm happy to see what this one's about.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. It's our countdown to Chiefs kickoff, continuing, get back into doing this every day. We are 11 days from report day.
Let's
to
go.
St. Joe. We're getting so close.
So hyped for this, man.
But we are 63 days away from the Chiefs season opener, the Monday night home game against the Denver Broncos, September 14th. Number 63, of course, if you know your Chiefs history, you know this one without me having to tell you. It is Honey Bear himself, Willie Lanier, maybe the best linebacker in Chiefs history. You could also argue he wasn't even the best linebacker on his own team, but I think the consensus is that among the linebacking trio of Lanier, Bobby Bell, and Jim Lynch, Lanier was the best of the players. And that appears to be the historical consensus. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Text line 785-272-9429 if you want to argue for Bell or Lynch. But Lanier, obviously Hall of Famer, former Man of the Year winner, and an all-time Chiefs great. And you don't get great linebacking groups anymore. Football is ever evolving and always changing. But when was the last time you thought about like a linebacking trio, like a group of 3 guys who were just like inextricably linked because they played linebacker? Because teams started playing more nickel, so then it's 2 guys. And how often do you think about a linebacking duo even?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think about is Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs.
Yeah, Urlacher and Briggs is a great example.
That's really
Ray Lewis and Peter Bulware.
I guess
Baltimore
Clay
teams.
Matthews,
Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright, Seattle.
Clay Matthews and AJ Hawk.
But it used to be you get 3. Used to be you'd get the 3.
4-3. That used to be the defense.
Yeah, the base was you played 3 linebackers.
Yeah.
And there might not have been a better trio ever than Willie Lanier, Bobby Bell, and Jim Lynch for the Chiefs. Again, in the 5 o'clock hour, we got headlines. We are going to talk some quarterbacks. We're going to talk some home run derby. And I'm going to give away some tickets to the TBT at Lee Arena next Wednesday. Stay listening. 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Third and final hour of 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis rocking with you on this Monday on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW FM 104.9. Online at 580WIBW.com. On your mobile device on the MSC radio app, and on YouTube on our 580 Sports Talk channel. So many ways you can check out the show. We appreciate you doing so on this Monday here on 580 Sports Talk. One more hour to spend together today. We've got a bunch of headlines that we're going to get to, and that will include a look at the winner's circle from the weekend, the World Cup roundup, a Major League Baseball draft recap as well. We're going to talk about those ESPN quarterback rankings. We're going to do our own quarterback rankings later this week. It's going to be part of the Dead Week content because we do it around this time every year. We're going to do it again. We're going to rank the quarterbacks here on 580 Sports Talk. Somebody turned in a list of quarterbacks ostensibly ranked from best to worst and ranked Patrick Mahomes 9th best. And somebody, maybe somebody else, maybe the same somebody, decided that Lamar Jackson wasn't a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And I tend to believe and agree with Matt Verderame, our NFL insider, who, if you missed it, he joined us in the first hour today, who said of those people, he would ask them, do you have eyes? Do you watch the games? There is no argument that there are 8 quarterbacks in the NFL that you would rather have than Patrick Mahomes. There is no argument. No argument. Unless you were born in June of 2025 and you fell off the back of the turnip truck in September of 2025 and the only NFL season you've ever seen was the 2025 season.
I think you can. They're half that. Like, not even half that.
Yeah, no kidding. The only football you've ever watched was after Josh Simmons got hurt.
No, I'm talking about number of quarterbacks. Like, there's not 8 quarterbacks better.
No.
There's not even half that.
No.
There's not even 4 quarterbacks better than Patrick Mahomes.
Nobody dared to rank Josh Allen outside their top 4, but all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes gets hurt and he's 9th best quarterback in the NFL. Give me a freaking break. Anyway.
I've got a problem with mine. I'm just trying to figure out how to rank a guy that is on the latter side of his career that just won the MVP.
Yeah. Like
that's a hard rank.
Yeah, it is. It'll be interesting.
What are we going to see? Because his shoulders could give out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we rank him. We'll talk about how ESPN ranked him a little bit later on this hour. We'll get to the Home Run Derby as well. That is tonight. It is on Netflix. The format is different. It is similar to some ways they've done it in the past. No more clock. No more bonus time. A little bit of a slower pace, but I think that probably makes it a better TV product. Jack Caglione is in it, the 6th Royal to participate in the Home Run Derby. It's a pretty cool field. I think it's going to be a good entertainment tonight for the Home Run Derby if you're willing to fire up Netflix for it. We'll preview that a little bit later this hour as well. And also this hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the TBT at Lee Arena right here in Topeka. Game 2 of the 3-game series between JHX Hoops and Purple Rain. That game, July 22nd. That is next Wednesday. It is right here in the capital city. It is at Lee Arena, and I've got tickets to give away. We're going to give away tickets all week and leading up to Wednesday. So if you don't win today, don't hang your head too long or get too sad. We'll have opportunities to win more tickets as the week goes on. But I'm giving away my first family 4-pack that I've got available to go see TBT and some of the greats from Kansas and Kansas State taking the hardwood at the home of the Washburn Ichabods.
I'll probably be there.
Probably.
Yeah, I gotta wait. I gotta get the official channels.
Oh yeah, you're going. You're trying to go on an official basis.
Credential media. Yeah. I'm waiting for the credential.
Yeah.
But I don't see why I wouldn't get it.
I don't see why you wouldn't get one either. So anyway, if it is not an option for you to be credentialed media and you like to go sit in the stands, first giveaway of tickets coming up. Again, that is next Wednesday, July 22nd at Lee Arena. JHX Hoops and Purple Rain in the basketball tournament. Got a family 4-pack of tickets that we're giving away, so be listening for your cue for that.
And if you haven't been to the renovated Lee Arena, you can see it in the summer. And
that's true.
Think about going back there for Washburn Hoops.
That's right. It's a great advertisement for the facility, no doubt. if you have not seen it since it's been upgraded here in the last couple of years. And speaking of the TBT, it was confirmed in my email earlier today that Jacob Pullen going to play for Purple Rain. That was promoted as breaking news in the promotional email I got from the TBT folks today. Of course, Jacob Pullen is one of the absolute legends in Kansas State basketball history. Helped them to the Elite Eight in 2011. Has built a storied international career, has played all across the continent of Europe, including most recently with Napoli in Italy. And at the age of 36, going to pull on the purple and play along with Michael Beasley for the Purple Rain team in the TBT.
You know who is slated to play in this tournament for JHX Hoops?
Next headline, Spencer. Great segue. Next headline.
Yeah, former ex, I guess is how the ESPN article says it, ex-Kansas player LaGerald Vick was slated to play for JHX Hoops in the TBT starting next week. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's happening.
He, a member of the Final Four team back in 2018, has been charged with attempted first-degree murder in Memphis, Tennessee. He was arrested Saturday in relation to an alleged incident on the 4th of July. He's also been charged with using a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. A man who was hospitalized from a gunshot wound to the back told police he had gotten into a verbal confrontation with another man at approximately 11 p.m. on July 4th. He told police he was shot when he turned to run away after seeing the man had a handgun under his armpit. According to the charging documents, he told police the first name of the alleged shooter and later identified Vick as the alleged shooter in a photo lineup. Bail for Vick, who was charged with 2 felonies, a misdemeanor in a separate incident earlier this year, has been set at $1.5 million. His arraignment was continued with a new date yet to be announced. A bail review remains scheduled for tomorrow. His court date for a previous incident for allegedly breaking into a former girlfriend's home and theft is set for July 30th.
Yeah, there's a pattern of behavior here that goes really all the way back to his freshman year at Kansas when he was the subject of a Title IX investigation. Never was officially charged, but did have that when he initially arrived on campus. Obviously left KU early with about 8 games remaining in his senior season. There were moments of brilliance on the court for LaGerald Vick as a Jayhawk, but again, this is what appears to be a pattern of behavior, a through line through Vick's entire adulthood. My wife saw the headline, and it was just the clickbait headline. It was ex-Jayhawk charged with ex-Kansas basketball player charged with attempted murder, and asked me, "Yeah, is that true?" I said, "Yeah, it was," and I said, to be honest with you, if you'd said to me, hey, if I had seen the headline, just like she had seen it, the clickbait headline, ex-Kansas player charged with attempted murder, I hate to say my first guess would have been LaGerald Vick. And my second guess would have been, are you sure it wasn't LaGerald Vick? That's kind of the pattern of behavior there that's been exhibited, and made a lot of really bad choices. And this one alleged bad choice could lead to him going away for a really long time. So obviously hope for whatever a good outcome would be there. And even if the best outcome is he does some time, thinks about what his life has become, and whatever a good outcome can be from this, I hope that's what ends up happening. Next headline, let's go to some dreams coming true. The Major League Baseball entry draft was this weekend. Even put the first 10 picks on network television.
Yeah, I was
first
watching
10 picks were on NBC. Rest of it was on Peacock, MLB Network, and then rounds 5 through 20 throughout yesterday. We'll start with the local connections, players who were drafted that have local ties, starting with the Kansas Jayhawks players who heard their names called. Tyson LeBlanc went 61st overall in the second round to the Detroit Tigers. His teammate Brady Bollinger also drafted by Detroit in the 7th round with the 216th pick. Dominic Bagley is an Oriole, the 82nd pick in the 3rd round, the pitching standout for the Jayhawks. And another Jayhawk pitcher, Mathis Nayrall, was selected by the Blue Jays with the 402nd overall pick in the 13th round.
2 players not drafted, Bodie Ray and Caleb Baldridge, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They have announced they are coming back for another year.
A lot of KU players have announced that today. Munengaretta, the catcher, Manning West, one of their better pitchers during the season. Also, a lot of public announcements today from KU players saying they're coming back. They intend to run it back with the Jayhawks after their super regional appearance this past season. Also, 4 Wildcats heard their names called in the Major League Baseball entry draft. D. Kennedy, the highest drafted Wildcat, he went 114th overall in the 4th round to St. Louis. Pitcher James Guyette went in the 5th round, 157th to San Diego. Pitcher Tazwell Butler was the 10th round selection, the 301st overall pick to Houston. And catcher Bear Madliak was selected by the Athletics with the 531st overall pick in the 18th round. A trio of Wichita State Shockers were tabbed. Jason Jones in the 8th round, Brady Hamilton in the 14th round, Max Coffer in the 18th round. 2 kids with Kansas high school ties who appeared for the JUCO national champions from Johnson County Community College this season. Victor Cristal, the pitcher, went to Cincinnati in the 16th round, former Bishop Miege Stag. Anson Siebert, Blue Valley Southwest product, also a pitcher for Johnson County Community College. He went in the 20th round to Washington. The highest drafted high school player from the state of Kansas was Bo Peterson out of Mill Valley High School. He is committed to Texas, and he was taken in the 4th round, in the competitive balance portion of the 4th round, by the Houston Astros. Trying to find, I thought I had seen a list of other kids who had attended high school in Kansas and been drafted, but can't seem to find where that list is.
I think I might be able to find it for you, at least a couple. Let me pull it.
Kid from Eisenhower, kid from Goddard Eisenhower,
Yes.
went to Nebraska, was a 3rd round pick.
Tyner Horn.
Tyner Horn, that's his name. Yes.
And then West Virginia Mountaineer, Paul Schoenfield. Went to Bishop Carroll.
Bishop Carroll kid. Yeah, there were a couple of others too, but those are some of the kids with direct Kansas ties. As for the Royals, they were heavily rumored they were going to go below slot for their 1st round pick. And the idea being that they were going to use some of that slot savings with the 6th overall pick to then take some chances and splash some bigger signing bonuses on the 30th overall pick and maybe their subsequent 1st round draft selections. Well, they did go under slot. Louisville outfielder Zion Rose was the 6th overall pick. Considered one of the best athletes and pure hitters in the draft. Came into college as a catcher but switched to the outfield. Hit over 436 games for Louisville in an injury-shortened 2026 season. Really well-regarded player. He was a player that I saw connected a lot to the Dodgers in mock drafts. And if the Dodgers are on a kid, that probably means he's a pretty good prospect. So Zion Rose, the 1st round pick for the Royals. Again, when you go under slot, there's a lot of different directions that can go. Sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you can do some good things when you can go over slot later in the draft. For example, the Royals went famously over slot to sign Sean Manaea when they drafted him in the 1st round. And if they don't draft Sean Manaea, they can't trade for Ben Zobrist. They don't have Ben Zobrist, they don't win the 2015 World Series. So this draft strategy, commonly used, doesn't mean the Royals are cheaping out, just means that they like the draft pool and they want to try to maximize some of the ceiling that they can draft as the draft goes on. So where are the savings going? Probably to the 30th overall pick. Taylor Rabe, pitcher out of Ole Miss. He was their number 1 starter this past season. And the 56th overall selection, their 2nd round pick, right-handed high school pitcher Jack Slidham from Lyons Township High School, the same high school that gave the world Brendan Dworzinski. Our old friend. Also, notably, the Royals snagged the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, West Virginia's Max Yell, with their third-round pick at number 91 overall. Keith Law covers baseball, amateur baseball, the minor leagues for The Athletic. He really liked the Royals draft. Here's what he had to say over at The Athletic. Quote, "The Kansas City Royals played it a little differently this year, but I also loved their draft. Rose will probably come in under slot. He's one of the best pure hitters in this draft class and a sneaky good athlete for a former catcher. Then they took right-hander Rabe, a late-rising starter from Mississippi who could move pretty quickly through the minors. I wondered if they would take a pitcher who would be described in such a fashion given their pretty urgent need for starting pitching depth. Their third-round pick was Yell. At worst, he projects as a good reliever. The money they might save on Rose and Yell, a redshirt junior, will go to second-round pick Jack Slightum, one of the hottest names in my conversations with scouts the last few weeks. He's a high school righty with a very fast arm, a big frame, and good characteristics on his pitches. I think he's 6'5". High school outfielder Dominic Batista, their fourth-round pick, is a sleeper among scouts who have the Chicago area, as he's a little undersized, but some folks love the swing and potential for power. Probably will go over slot to sign Batista out of Oswego East High School, which I looked at the map. Maybe you can say that's Chicago, but it's pushing it. So it's kind of the outlying Chicago area where Batista is from. But anyhow, there are some high marks for the Royals draft class. I know Randy Gisarli over on X, longtime baseball writer, big Royals fan, podcaster. He was not as enthusiastic about the draft haul. So differences in opinion for sure. But I am definitely interested in Rose, just given his all-around ability and his hit tool. That was the fascinating thing about the entire baseball draft. I can get a little baseball nerdy with you guys for 30 seconds. All of the big hitters, like the top drafted hitters, college kids, hit tool grading better than the power tool. Teams valuing the ability to make contact. Apparently, maybe that's the thing that's going to come back into vogue as baseball evolves and changes with the time. I know it's something that some of you complain about. Certainly I've complained about it too. Guys don't make contact. Guys sell out for power. Rose, among others, at the top of the draft, guys who have really good contact tools. One of the 5 tools, right? Hit for power, hit for contact, your arm, your legs, and your glove. Contact tool. Very important to teams drafting at the top of this draft, including the Royals. So that will be interesting to follow. I've
got another little tidbit here back about Wichita State. They've now had a player drafted in 46 consecutive MLB drafts, with the exception of 2020 when they decided to shorten the draft.
When they had a 5-round draft?
To 5 rounds, which really shouldn't count because, who was drafted just the best of the best.
Right.
That's pretty cool, though.
That is interesting. All right, you got one more headline for us before we get to the winner's circle.
Yes, I do. Former Kansas men's basketball coach Ted Owens will be inducted to the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame on October 22nd of this year. The ceremony will take place at the College Basketball Experience right next to T-Mobile Center in KC Mo. The National Association of Basketball Coaches announced today he roamed the sidelines at KU as a head coach for 19 seasons, from the 1964-65 season through the 1982-83 season, where he compiled a 346 and 182 record, which is a winning percentage of 65.7%. His 348 wins rank him the 4th winningest coach in KU history, behind Bill Self, Fog Allen, and Roy Williams. Great company to be in, obviously. Under Owens, KU won 6 Big 8 conference regular season titles, 8 Big 8 holiday tournaments, and 1 Big 8 postseason tournament. Under Owens, KU advanced to the NCAA tournament play 7 times. His 1971 and 74 teams made it to the Final Four, and in 68 they made it to the finals of the National Invitational Tournament.
Ted Owens often doesn't get his flowers because of kind of where he fits in Kansas basketball history. He's not going to be the first name or the second name or even the third or the fourth name you think of when you think of like all-time great coaches in KU history. Like just the other ones are so notable. What Roy Williams did, Bill Self, Larry Brown, Fog Allen.
His names of the building.
James Naismith.
James Naismith on the court.
You get lost a little bit in history, but if you know that Ted Owens, again, as described, consistent winner at Kansas, kept that program as a consistent winner in his 19 seasons. Also had the occasion to interview him about, would have been about 12 years ago now, when he was at the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. I think he was getting inducted, or maybe he was a keynote speaker one year at the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame down there at the Wichita Boathouse. And I had a chance to interview Ted Owens. Wonderful man. And everybody who knows him or has interacted with him will tell you the same. So congratulations indeed in order for Ted Owens. Going in alongside Tubby Smith and Jay Wright in the coaches' side. And the player inductees this year are Danny Ainge, BYU, Glenn Rice from Michigan, and the late Walt Hazzard from UCLA. So a pretty strong class of 2026, the College Basketball Hall of Fame. They will have an induction celebration October 22nd at that college basketball experience in Kansas City. Real quick to the winner's circle from the weekend. We had the Wimbledon Singles Championships decided. Yannick Sinner defeated Alexander Zverev in 4 sets, the Italian winning the men's championship. In the women's championship, it was an all-Czechia final. Linda Noskova defeating her countrywoman Karolina Muchova in 3 sets. In golf, Tom Kim, a winner for the first time in over 1,000 days. He takes the victory at the Scottish Open. Did you see any of the clips of Rory McIlroy from this weekend? Rory,
I know that I saw a leaderboard on maybe Saturday morning before they, like right when he was starting play, or Friday night late. And I thought he was going to be in contention, and then I checked on Sunday. I checked on Sunday, and he was nowhere to be found on like the top 15.
Yeah, so he shot a 73 on Saturday, and that kind of took him out. He ended up finishing in a tie for 7th. But he had one point where he was hitting a pitching wedge off of a tee on a par 3, and he chunked it, and it got to like the ladies' tees. And then he also had a shot that was so bad on one hole that he could be clearly heard on the broadcast saying, "I'm so bad at golf."
I was too
Which
busy.
is maybe the most relatable thing I've ever heard in my life.
I was too busy watching the fun golf this weekend, this American Century.
Oh. Here, I'm going to play you the audio of McIlroy here, if you've got
Oh my God.
Oh, that's
you got something else potted up over there.
Yeah, that was actually him batting the wedge on Saturday, and then he hit the shot that made himself say, "I'm so bad at golf," which is an objectively funny thing for Rory McIlroy to say out loud. Anyway, Tom Kim won there by 2 shots. Also from the weekend, Ryan Blaney took the checkered, a late-night checkered at Echo Park, his second win of the Cup Series season.
I saw the ending. Fun ending.
Yeah,
Didn't watch the entire
overtime
race.
finish.
Overtime finish. They had 3 wide on the final lap. It looks real fun if you were staying up late to watch NASCAR.
Let's wrap up our headlines with the World Cup Roundup.
Open wide for some soccer!
So after all of that, all that we have experienced over the last month in this World Cup, the biggest one with 48 participating nations, the biggest World Cup in history, all of the drama, all of the incredible matches, incredible individual performances we've seen, we arrive at the semifinals that pretty much everybody would have predicted at the very start. The 4 best teams in the world are going to play each other in the semifinals.
Shocker.
Yeah, funny how that works out sometimes, right? It's a little like, when we went into the NFL playoffs this year, and it felt like, well, gosh, a lot of the big-name quarterbacks are out of it. Mahomes isn't around. Anything can happen. This could be a wild playoffs. And then it was the number 1 seed against the number 2 seed in the NFC and in the AFC. Funny how that worked out. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Sometimes you get all the 1 seeds, right, in the NCAA tournament. It'll be France and Spain and England and Argentina. Battle for the Falklands. Those will be the matchups, the semifinal matchups in the World Cup. France and Spain will play tomorrow. That game is in Arlington. England and Argentina play Wednesday in Atlanta. Both games start at 2 o'clock, so, get off of work early if you want. I think I have always thought France was going to win from the very beginning. I listen to Paul Carr. I trust him. And still riding with France. I think they're the best team.
It's a battle on one side of that, right? Of two teams that had base camp in Kansas City.
That's right.
England and Argentina,
both trained in Kansas City. Can credit.
It's like Kansas City is a great area for soccer or something.
They can credit burnt ends for their success.
Have you
by
seen
far.
all the crap that Kansas City's taken from reporters?
No.
American sports reporters are like, why would you want to be in Kansas City?
Well, that's maybe what they said before.
Scotty Gange or whatever from Denver.
Oh.
He was trying to roast Arrowhead, saying it was the worst stadium around.
So I did hear about that. Yeah. The guy, I don't even remember what channel he's from in Denver. I never heard of the guy.
I think
young guy.
He won the Jim Nantz.
Did he really? Young guy trying to make a name for himself, whatever. I can be objective about this because I've spent a lot of time in Kansas City, but also I grew up near Denver. I can be objective about this. The better city, top to bottom, Denver. Denver is a better city. Denver has a better downtown. The better major sports city is Denver. Again, this is a math problem that Kansas City can't solve. Denver's got 4. Yeah. Kansas City's got 2. Denver's a better major sports city. Kansas City is a better sports event city, like the World Cup, like Big 12 championships, things like that.
They're going to have an NCAA tournament games there this year.
NCAA tournament, yes. Sport event cities, events like that, Kansas City outdoes Denver in every way in hosting those things. Also, I've been to Arrowhead. I've been to Mile High Stadium. Arrowhead's better. Arrowhead clears. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Apparently, Denver did not want to spend the money. That's what their people say. They didn't want to spend the money to get FIFA there.
They were happy to spend it to have the Gold Cup, but interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I love both cities dearly. Obviously, Denver's home, and everybody's from somewhere. That's where I'm from. But if we're being honest about which city does major sporting events better, it's Kansas City.
Yeah,
it is. It's Kansas City, and that's precisely because a city like Denver is a better major sports city, so there's always a big game, a big happening. The playoffs are there. The conference championship, the AFC championship game was in Denver this past year. There's always stuff like that happening. There's something on the sports schedule every night. In Kansas City, it's not always true, right? You get baseball, you got the Chiefs, but there's not always something on the sports calendar so that when something does show up on the sports calendar, Kansas City does it big and they do it right. And they roll out the red carpet, and they're better at that stuff.
They have a soccer game at the stadium where it's darn near sold out, and then their party area.
Yes, Power and Light.
Power and Light. You can't even walk.
Yeah, I say Denver has a better downtown, but doesn't have Power and Light. Yeah, that's a different kind of atmosphere that Denver hasn't really figured out how to replicate. Anyway, that is my wholly unbiased opinion of those two cities, and that is our World Cup roundup. And those are our headlines. We'll take a break. When we come back, ESPN submitted their quarterback rankings today. We're going to yell about them. That's next at 580 WIBW. .536 on 580 Sports Talk. I'm getting a spam phone call right now to my cell phone. Have you noticed an uptick in spam phone calls recently, Spencer?
Yes, but I noticed it like weeks together, like 4-day stretches.
Yeah, so...
And then they go away for like 3 weeks, and then it's like 4 straight days. It's like crazy, and then it goes away, and it's like 4. It just repeats.
So my wife's getting bombarded.
That means they've just reached your area on their little call list.
I guess so. And part of it was, so my thought was, I'm guessing these are maybe political in nature. We got the primary coming up.
Yeah.
We got the August 4th, and my wife, native Kansan, 785 number. I've got my Colorado number still, and so I'm thinking, yeah, well, that's tough for you, hon, but not going to be me. And now today, the Avalanche has just now hit my phone. Tell you, I think that's one of those nonpartisan issues. We would just love to be only called by people that we want to call us and not ever see potential spam pop up on our phone. Anyhow, neither here nor there. The ESPN positional rankings continue. They've been rolling those out day by day on their website. And today was quarterbacks. And Josh Allen ranked the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes ranked second. Here's the blurb for Mahomes. Mahomes led this list for 3 consecutive seasons. No quarterback has garnered more respect in the post-Brady era. He still puts fear in people like no other quarterback. Gives you a shot in every game, an NFL quarterback's coach said. His skill set, combined with his will to win, puts him at the top. But after 3 consecutive seasons of subpar production for his standards, Mahomes relinquishes his crown for at least 1 year, despite leading all quarterbacks in first-place votes. More voters than usual kept him out of their top 3.
Wow.
As one NFL personnel director noted, a weak supporting cast in Kansas City has camouflaged Mahomes' greatness. One veteran NFL defensive coach, I'm hopping to the bottom here, was critical of Mahomes' overall play. Mahomes struggled even before the injury last year, held the ball too long and forced throws when it wasn't necessary. Still has a tendency to chase the big play instead of keeping the offense on schedule. But even that coach added, if they don't have him, they win 3 games tops last year. I mean, yeah, probably. We saw what it looked like with Chris Oladokun, so yeah, that guy's probably right. Anyhow, okay, so 41.5% of voters submitted ballots with Mahomes at the very top. There were more than 70 voters who submitted a ballot on at least one position. These are league executives, coaches, and scouts. More of them, the majority, if not the plurality, say Mahomes is still the number 1 quarterback in the league. Somebody ranked him 9th. And you know what? I wouldn't want my name on that either. I wouldn't want to be the person who has to take a phone call from an enterprising reporter or a question at a press conference. So who are the 8 quarterbacks you think are better than Patrick Mahomes? And why? And do your eyes work? Do you watch football? Or you just got to watch your own team? You just watch the bits and pieces of last season? There's no argument for that. You want to argue that because of the injury and missing the playoffs that Josh Allen has the belt for now? If you want to make that argument, I don't agree with it, but I'll listen. But if you want to tell me that Mahomes isn't a top 8 quarterback in the National Football League, you're just being silly. You're just being foolish.
Yeah. So the honorable mentions are just people that
appeared on the ballot. So let's run down. This is the
because that also receiving votes. The second player in there should not be received any votes.
So the list from 1 to 10, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and he did win the MVP.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Somebody left Lamar Jackson off of their top 10. Again, do you have eyes? Dak Prescott 6th, Justin Herbert 7th, Drake May 8th, Jared Goff 9th, Caleb Williams 10th. The honorable mentions, Sam Darnold, Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, and Jalen Hurts. Also receiving votes, Bo Nix, Daniel Jones, C.J. Stroud. So I talked to Matt Verderame about this, and I said, so 20 quarterbacks get a play in a top 10 vote. Does that say anything about quality of quarterbacking in the league? Is it good? Is it bad? And Matt, who's reported on the league long enough and been around long enough to know like what these lists really are, he says I wouldn't read anything into it other than some guys just making sure their guy gets on the list, doing a little pat on the back for their guy, doing a solid for a buddy, or doing a solid for a guy they used to coach. And that's how you get on this
or even
an honorable mention.
Scouts could be a guy that scouted this guy out of college.
Right.
They're like, well, I'm always going to be privy to him.
You want the credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally do think that the floor for quarterback play is a little higher in the league. I think there was an era there, like right at the beginning of the Mahomes era, right towards the end of like Phillip Rivers and Roethlisberger and Eli Manning, toward the end of those guys' careers. I do think there was a point there where there was a bit of a quarterback crisis, where there weren't enough really good ones in the league. I think there are enough capable ones in the league now. I feel generally like there isn't much difference, and I agree with Matt on this. And if you missed my conversation with Matt Verderame in the 3 o'clock hour, you can rewind on a YouTube video. You can check out the podcast, 580wibw.com, or on Spotify by searching 580 Sports Talk. I do think there's probably just not that much difference between the 9th guy on the list and the 16th guy on the list. And so I do think, though, that speaks well of what you would call the middle class of quarterbacks in the NFL. The problem is, I don't think anybody's knocking at the door of the upper class. Like, I still think the upper class is the same as it's been. I think it's Mahomes. I think it's Allen. I think it's Lamar. And I think, like, if you wanted to still put Joe Burrow in there because of what he looks like when he's healthy, not going to argue. That's been my top 4 for the last 3 years. I don't know that I'm going to change that this year. But I thought there would be more guys knocking on the door of the upper class. Like, Stafford is fascinating because, he won the MVP. But is it just maybe a case of he's getting his flowers a little late? But then, like, guys beyond that, keep waiting for somebody else to join that unquestioned elite class. And, like, is Drake May going to do it? Maybe. Justin Herbert, not till you win a playoff game, Buster. Dak Prescott, close, no cigar. Caleb Williams is on the cusp. We'll see. Jaden Daniels felt like he was on the cusp last year and then had
I think you have a healthy year. They somehow make the playoffs, then he joins the league. Like, if he plays really well, he stays healthy, and they make the playoffs, which not a lot of people are predicting, I think he could get onto that list.
Sure. No, I think, he probably does get back into the top 10 this time next year if that happens. But that is where I see, like, there's still the Mount Rushmore. There's still the top guys, and nobody's beating that door down. And, like, nobody from this rookie class is going to do it. All due respect to Fernando Mendoza, I still think Mendoza's best is not going to be – even the best case scenario for Mendoza, I don't think he's going to knock at the door of what Allen has been, what Mahomes has been, what Lamar has been.
I don't even know that he opens the season as their starter.
He may not.
Like, that's the biggest question, is who's going to open the year as their starter.
We're going to take a timeout here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, they're going to bash some dingers tonight in the city of brotherly love. We'll talk home run derby on 580 Sports Talk. .547 on 580 Sports Talk. Good text here from the 785 regarding that quarterback list. If Patrick's knee is good all season, we'll be thanking those people who think it's okay to poke the bear. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I would probably, if I had not spent all this time covering the Chiefs, watching the Chiefs, covering Mahomes, watching Mahomes, I would probably roll my eyes at the people who say stuff like, oh, Mahomes feeds off of this. He feeds off of the disrespect. He loves this stuff. It fuels him. It motivates him. But I have been around, and I have covered Mahomes, and I have watched Mahomes, and I know that's true. He really does lap that stuff up. It is feeding him. He's probably got that list taped to the wall wherever he was getting his workout in today. I guarantee he's going to look at that in his locker all the way through training camp. And he's going to remind you of that list. If every chance he gets, first opportunity he gets, he's going to remind you.
Hey, if you were,
he is fueled by spite. You know what?
Yeah.
I respect that. I respect people who are fueled by spite.
If you were really still hurt coming off your ACL in a bad part of recovery, I don't think you'd take up the dance floor at the biggest wedding possible.
Yeah, probably not.
Because allegedly, because we don't know anything.
We'll see in the Netflix doc, I'm sure.
Yes, but allegedly he was on the dance floor a lot. So,
hey, look, you could have seen me on the dance floor in high school or at any wedding I've ever been to, and you would think that guy has 2 torn ACLs. So, may not mean anything. Also from the 785, how are the Commanders going to make the playoffs when their best receiver is 30 plus and he can't stay healthy? Spencer, you want to field that one?
Wow. Okay.
It's a fair question. Like,
he can't stay healthy. Last year was the first time he's ever missed time in his career.
I think maybe they were referring to Debo, but he's not.
Debo's
not
not
your
even
best
on the
receiver
active
and not on the
roster.
active roster. Yeah, a little misguided Terry McLaurin hate.
Terry
Set him
McLaurin
straight.
has barely missed any
Set
time.
him
The only
straight,
time he
Spencer.
missed was when he was holding out and then he got hurt, which was karma. I think.
Maybe they mean Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz no longer on the team either.
Really? They moved off him. Is he a free agent?
Yeah, he had a 1-year deal,
I'll
and
be
he was
darned.
coming off that torn ACL. So I would imagine if he works out for teams, he might come back mid-season.
Thanks for the text, 785-272-9429.
Thanks for getting me going.
Home Run Derby tonight. It's on Netflix from Philadelphia. Your contestants, they got an uneven number, which I hate. They got 5 from the American League, 3 from the National League. Your National Leaguers, St. Louis is Jordan Walker and a pair of Phillies, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. From the American League, you have Boston's Wilson Contreras, Chicago's Munetaki Murakami, Tampa Bay's Junior Caminero, New York's Ben Rice, and Jack Caglione of the Kansas City Royals. A report today that Netflix was integral in getting Contreras to participate in the Home Run Derby because he's from a different country, and Netflix would like people to watch the Home Run Derby on their streaming service from outside of the United States.
I think they have a lot more to worry about than watching a home run derby, unfortunately.
Well, that may be true.
Like, I would be worried about cleaning up my area and making sure everybody's okay after everything that happened down there.
So
then watch.
Oh, you're talking about Venezuela. You're not talking about Netflix.
Yeah, I'm talking about Venezuela.
Yeah,
the people of
Venezuela. They've gone through. Yeah, they've gone through a hard time.
Yes.
Certainly, horrible earthquakes, loss of life, terrible tragedies down there. But Contreras, for his part, wants to do it to, maybe shed a positive light and give some joy to those people back in his home country. Anyway, new format this year. So the clock is gone. There's a set number of swings. You get 20 swings in the first round, 15 in the second round, 15 in the final. There's no bonus round, but if you homer on your final swing, you can keep going until you stop hitting home runs. So, which that kind of feels like baseball, right? You can always catch up. If you keep scoring, you've always the clock is out, says how you perform. The first round tiebreaker is the longest home run. There will be a 3-swing off that'll break ties in semifinals and finals. I think this will be a good change because the thing that was lost, even though the clock gave it like some immediacy and like a bit of tension that was added to it, two things happened. Number one, if you hit a ton of first-round home runs, you always got too tired, and you never actually won the thing. I remember the year Julio hit 41 in the first round, and then the championship
and everybody thought
the championship was the two guys who'd hit the fewest first-round home runs because they were the freshest. This is going to change that, which I think is good. The other thing, with the old rule, with the clock, the incentive was pitch, swing, get the ball out quick, take as many swings as you can, so guys are going fast. But what you don't get to do is admire the home runs, and that's what we're here in the first place. We're not here to count the home runs. We're here to see the home runs and see how cool the home runs are, see how far they go, see what parts of the stadium they get to. And you couldn't really do that in the old format. It wasn't really conducive to admiring the home runs, and that's what I'm in it for. As a consumer of the home run derby, if I'm going to watch the home runs, I don't care if somebody hits 40 in 4 minutes. I want to see somebody hit one 500 feet, and I want to see it land, and I want to see the players react like they used to react to like the slam dunk contest when guys like fall all over each other. Shaq with his handy cam watching Vince Carter dunk. Like that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to bring that back to the home run derby.
Matt Vasgersian will be the lead comment broadcaster.
Well, I think he'll actually be pretty good for that role. As I'm sitting here and thinking about that, he might crush it.
Yeah.
Text from the 785. I think part of the All-Star activities should include non-All-Stars versus Banana Ball. I think it would be a great crossover. A former Savannah Banana is on the American League All-Star team. Tristan Peters.
Yeah.
Briefly played for the Bananas before he got drafted and signed to the Tampa Bay Rays, who traded him to the White Sox this offseason for money. And now he's an all-star for a team that's for first place.
Pretty cool for him.
Oh, definitely. So there is some banana ball connection to this year's all-star game. Final word coming up next on 580 Sports Talk. We're going to blow this popsicle stand, but first, a final word on today's 580 Sports Talk. Spencer Dupuis, what you got?
As you get older, you learn how important certain appliances are.
Facts.
And over the weekend, on Saturday morning-ish, our garbage disposal broke.
Oh, no.
And we were cleaning out the fridge, and we had, some week-old stuff, some corn. Started, put the corn down the sink and started it and went and stopped.
That's tough.
The whole kitchen was not great smelling.
I bet not.
Shout out to the maintenance people at the complex. They fixed it earlier today.
Yeah, that you'll be glad to
yes.
have that back online. Final word for me today. I'm glad I don't have to watch the Royals the next 4 days. And I have not seen too many teams with a greater sim to end of season energy than these Kansas City Royals. And it's such a letdown. It's such a failure of leadership that's where this roster is, that a roster with ostensibly exciting players and exciting personalities is this listless and this juiceless and this hopeless to be one of only 7 teams who can't even see a playoff spot from where they're at in the standings, given everything that was hoped for and anticipated coming into this season. It is utter failure. There is no other way to slice it. Hey, I told you to wait for your cue to call. We're slipping it in under the wire. 785-272-9429. 785-272-9429. Caller number 1, first one, fastest fingers. You got tickets to the TBT game at Lee Arena next Wednesday. We're back tomorrow. For Spencer, I'm Dan. Good night.